I missed. Pound the ground, pound the ground. The trail lies in the road. Pound the ground, pound the ground. March of the shock. Down on your steel. Holy shit, it's Blue Demon Rain. Also, what's the song? Man, you've asked this question like 3 times. At least I swear you have. We've been down, they say, countless times. I have the memory of a... I'm just gonna copy and put it in chat. Doesn't change. There you go. It's a song called Carpe Diem by it's a Unicus theme. Can I ask for the song one more time? No. I specifically put it in chat so you can look at it.
I'm about to just pin it to the start of every stream because I usually use it a lot in the beginning of stream. I'm just gonna like pin it I'm just gonna pin it as every start message to every stream. That's a little dangerous to do with a cherry in my mouth. I thought I was about to like swallow it all. Okay. All right, there we go. Every stream we're gonna start with song, chat, song. Soul to a cherub. Buckle up, yeah. Babe, my baby. Oh, hallelujah.
On July 21st.
Fuck, man, this video is 2 hours long. Extras. Dude, you cannot be serious. I can't believe Mugen made a 2-hour-long video. I'm so pissed. I hate this. I hate everything about this. I no longer want to be here. Whatever. I guess I'll get to it. I guess I have to react to it. Also, I also think this is really funny when I go on Kick. Every time I stream on Kick, it's just like, I got a follower. The follower was banned. Because it's always like bots that follow me. And then they always post, hey, would you do this to get more followers? Or blah, blah, blah. And then I just ban them. Hey, go live here. Hey, fuck you. Rob. Yeah. My bang. Lame ass bots. Yeah, they surely got rid of the botting problem on Kick. Honestly, I don't even care. No one gets rid of the botting problem anywhere. Wincest. Why is this person's stream titled the Wincest Marathon? I do kind of want to play the coffin of Andy and Lele. It's kind of weird, but I do. I fell down a lot. I'm not gonna lie, I've been watching some Andy and Lele videos. I watch like the reaction of like the VTubers who play it. Can't make dumber jokes than mine. That's why AI can't replace me. That's kind of what I'm hoping for as well, is that I gotta be me to the point where no one else can be me. Oh my god, that's so cursed. I hate that. I hate everything about that. I'm gonna be you. Are you? Jesus Christ, there's 44 I have 44 notifications, and I'm pretty sure it's all from that one video I uploaded the other day. Bro, guys, come on. People have been arguing for like 3 days straight. There's arguing and arguing and arguing. It's kind of impressive, I'm not gonna lie. Okay, mine. What video? The video I put out recently, the curl bots turned on Tectone. They're not even talking to me, bro. Like, legitimately, all the comments aren't even talking to me. They're just, like, talking and arguing amongst each other. I have 159 comments. I commented 3 times about it. Yeah, I saw that. There's a new wall killer when NTE comes out. NTE genuinely is just going to be a better Wuwa. There's like nothing that Wuwa does that NTE does better. Or that NTE doesn't do better. Except for maybe flying, but they have cars. Like, why would you not? Like, you literally have a car, bro. They have the thing that I want from that they have on PGR as well, which is the base. No, they don't have a base where you can have like your characters. You just have like an apartment, like it's actual GTA. Hold on, I'm trying to look through all these. This guy said filler patches are needed every 2 patches. I'm not saying that it doesn't need filler patches. I said it needs good filler patches. The time. Stop repeating events. I just want more events, bro. Come on. How can everyone else have new events but you? I don't understand. Also, I like how this guy caught this where I said that Wizardry is such a... where I said that Wizardry is a good game. Wizardry is a game that everyone talks about but nobody plays. What this NT that Genshin was the blueprint, Wuo is the prototype, and NT is the beta. I could see it like that, yeah. Gacha could still get better. Oh my god. What is it? Silver Palace? Dude, I think that's gonna be like... I think that's gonna be the big one. The one where everything comes together. People think it's fake. Silver Palace? Really? Shinya thought Anata was fake. That's really funny because like Anata has nothing to it. He has this conspiracy that it's fake. Because there's not been anything else for Anata for such a long time that they're like that Shinya was like, this has got to be a fake game. I saw a skit about Anata. Did you? Instead of Wuwa getting better or worse, I feel like it's more changed over time, which is fine, and objectively this might be for the better, but subjectively I simply haven't been enjoying 2.0 like I did 1.0 in the gameplay story. I think that's a fair... I'm reading the comments, by the way, if you don't know what I'm doing right now. I think that's a fair assessment. I personally like 2.0. And you know what? Maybe I can make that a video because there's so many goddamn comments. Holy shit. Oh, it just hit 7,000 views. Jeez. Where are all these views coming from? Was getting worse, getting static. The story is getting better. The game itself is getting worse, yeah. I think the story is definitely going in a better direction. I just like bro, there's nothing to fucking do. Like what do you do in the game? Literally nothing. At least Endless Zone Zero has like super fun events and stuff like that. Same with Genshin. Genshin has a whole ass event going on right now for the summer. You know, it's the sauce of the summer right now. Like, why wasn't Wuwa the sauce of the summer? They didn't have a summer event. They had summer skins. That's not a summer event. What the fuck? I think they're taking themselves too seriously. That's probably what it is. Like, they did Lupa dirty. I feel like they did for a Lovo. Maybe they did for a Lovo well. I don't know. By the way, I finished Genshin Summer Stuff yesterday. Oh, did you? I haven't done it yet. I was gonna continue it today, but I didn't stream yesterday, so I was supposed to do. I'm doing yesterday's stream now, which was the Muujin video. It was supposed to be yesterday, but I'm doing it now, and then tomorrow I'll play more Genshin. Maybe. I have a lot more time for Genshin, and I'm kind of running out of time for the Zenless stuff. And, ooh, Alice is out, too. I don't know if I'm going to get Alice, though. I ended up spending so much on Yuzuha's. Bros, you time traveling? What do you mean you did yesterday, today? That don't make any sense. I'm doing what I was supposed to do yesterday, today. Is what I meant to say. I don't know if I said that correctly. I imagine I didn't. I so used to think the next WoW killer it's nothing new. Tori, I understand. It's just making jokes. You know what that reminded me of, Min? That reminded me of SpongeBob. What's today's yesterday, but yesterday's tomorrow? Today, you're gonna be cleaning this. You're gonna be taking inventory, Mr. Squidward. But I said today, next time we waste our time replying to me stupidly. Sick and tired. Does Jodik really play Uma Musume? Is this? I forgot. I got Curran-chan last night. I got her at work. Creepiness. I hope they don't bring Philova back. Oh, yeah. Who is Gacha Central, bro? This thing came out of nowhere. What is a Sentinel? Wait, it is Sentinel. What the hell is a Sentinel? What? What is a Sentinel? Wait, I just noticed that. I thought it was Gacha Central. What the fuck is Gacha Sentinel? What the hell? Is this an actual... It's a Sentinel. Oh, duh. My bad. You right. You right. Kitchen Impact move. I'm assuming this is all like memes, and none of this should be taken seriously. Specifically, when asked about his favorite Carlotta Cantarella and their future relevancy in the narrative, he had to say sullenly, "Who?" What the fuck is this YouTube? I gotta make a video of this, dude. This is so silly. I kind of like it. I'm kind of all about it. Ascended Daniel. I do like Ascended Daniel. Players are getting sentineled, and it's gonna be funny. Our interview with Shoji is so popular. The front page of this Honkai Star Rail subreddit. This is such a stupid ass Twitter. It's so dumb, bro. I think it's funny though. I think it's silly fun. No one's. No one's getting hurt. Who cares, bro? It's silly. It's silly fun. Chat, you gotta have some silly fun sometimes. You know what I'm saying? He's Daniel. Daniel. I hope they don't fucking Daniel Prime his ass, dude. That was a goddamn shame, is what that was. Like Zhong Li, Dan Lee. Dan Lee. Goodness, it lolly. That's stupid. He's a tank Earth Dragon now. In March is the new Tila. What are they, anyways? Like, I never know what those fucking symbols mean. And I've been playing since, like, day one. I still don't know what they are. Collaboration, gacha game, Assassin's Creed collaboration. Oh, yeah. Reverse 99 is having an Assassin's Creed collaboration. Stella Sora. The hell's Stella Sora? I've heard of that. Wow, did Chad say Carpe Diem one more time? Say less. March is Remembrance and Daniel is a tank. What the fuck? I don't remember them having tank as one of them. Is that just a path tank? Preservation. Oh, okay. Is he Fizz? Is he Fizz Preservation? Is that what that is? Yeah, okay. Fizz Preservation. And then Remembrance Ice for Evernight. Pretty sure March lost her memories and is now evil. And Dan Lee is a Preservation path. I don't know how stone and physical are the same. Well, you kind of get physical when you smack him in the back of the head with a rock, right? It makes sense to me. It'll probably work well with a dot team. Let's see that. Sarydra. Is that Sarydra or is that FaZe Connect's own Mari _en? I can't tell. I love Sarydra. She's so silly. Is this an animation for a crownless coronation? Oh, it is. That's kind of cool. I'm glad I got a crownless coronation. I mean, my saber was still doing damage. I just kind of wanted to get the Mari counter out. Stop. I don't like that you now have a counter for it. Stop. No. I hate that. I hate everything about that. Dot getting too much love. I skipped all the good characters for that team for dot teams, and now they can play Diverging Universe in the motherfucking MOC. I have a lot less I have a lot less dot than I thought I did. I checked out the dot like picture, and I was like, wait, I only have like a few of these. Like I have some. Don't get me wrong, just like not an insane amount. I have them all. I don't. Bro, all I have is Luca. How do you not have Gwen Iphone? She's a 4-star. Wait, did you post the picture, Patrick, in the Discord? I swear you did. I wanted to look at that picture again. I swear you put it. Where is that picture of all the preservation characters? Oh god, I'm going back so far. Where is it? Or not preservation, dot characters. Fuck it, I can't find it. Or was it in gacha chat? It's god. We just like split both the chats up. I never find out where anything is. It's pretty funny though. I don't give a fuck. What do I care, right? The Discord has people talking in it. I'm gonna take that as a victory. We don't need big victories here, chat. We need small ones. I can't fucking find it. I talk about the same stuff in both channels. Yeah, who gives a fuck? Countless times. I don't know, bro. Characters are just dodging me. I feel that a lot. I enjoy the hunt and remembrance anyways. I think the hunt probably has my favorite characters too. Actually, remembrance characters are pretty pog, I'm not gonna lie. Reservation characters, I can count them on one hand. Fuck, you're not wrong. We need more. Bro, suffering from success. Too many people talking. That's the way. I'm trying to think of what. I guess it would just be whoever Acheron is under, right? Which would be Nihility. Oh, I think I was looking at the Nihility characters I don't have. And I don't have a lot of them. Like, I don't have Ting Yun Prime. I don't have Silverwolf. I don't have Chao Cho. I do have like the rest of them though. Chao Cho, it was a no-go. Chat, that's a man. I can't get a man. Fuck I look like. Chungus. Big Chumbus. I wish I didn't skip Big Chungus. Who's Big Chungus? Let's is it Hyacinth with Fat Fuck? Let's do March. Let's do it March, that one Quan girl from the characters. Hyacinth. Oh yeah, Hyacinth. Big Chumbus. HSR, China Adventuring, Japard, and Daniel Prime. I'm gonna have to get a lot more. I'm gonna have to start, if they're gonna keep like changing people, I'm gonna have to like start coming up with different words. So far I'm already run out. I've come up with 2 words and I've already ran out. I've come up with Daniel Prime and Ascended Daniel, and that's it. That's all I got. It would I would have to see his next form. I even gave fucking Sunday a different name, and he's just regular Sunday. He's just himself. I still call him Divine Sunday. March is Redzilla. Red March. My Hyacinth out damages my Thurda. I've seen some insane damage just coming out of Fat Fuck, bro. That guy really is like the black hole of everything. He's a chunky little boy. He's a fat fuck. I'm so glad I invested in her though, because honestly, bro, I just didn't have any preservation characters. Like, I legit, like, my account was bricked for the longest time because I didn't have any good preservation characters. Like, my characters just weren't surviving. Like, I had one, which was Gallagher. That was it. I had Gallagher and I had to survive with the rest of them. Like, Fushuan served me a lot in the early game. Same with Luocha, but like they really got power crept like a long time ago. So I ended up getting Hyacinth, and that like saved my account. I wanted Blade, but I'm scared of not having my dot queen. That's fair. Plus, Blade's not going anywhere, right? Like, you can get Blade or like buy one battle pass and redeem them. I think. Like, how many of the top characters do I have for damage? I have all of them except for Finon, and I ended up not getting Finon for Saber, which is another top tier damage character. I have all damage. My account got saved by Castrus, Tribune, Hyacinth. I have Castrus too. Dude, I said this in a TikTok. I need to upload it as a reel or as a short, bro. Who the fuck? Where did this happen? We have to this day have never found the person who told everyone to stop playing Honkai Star Rail because there's gonna be, or whoever told everyone that there's gonna be global passives galore, and the game is just gonna be unplayable. To this day, we have never found this person. We have no idea where this came from, and it's just we've just moved on as if someone doesn't need to be named, bro. I don't understand. Like someone needs to come forward about this. I'm not letting that slide, bro. Who the fuck started that? I'm so pissed because it's like I lost out on a bunch of Honkai Star Rail patches and I'm so fucking behind. Like I might have to take a week just to play Honkai Star Rail. So for the global passives we have is pretty okay. Revive barely makes a difference, bro. If you just don't die, you don't use it. Legit, like just don't die. I don't understand. You want a global passive? You don't want the global passive to make a difference? Just don't die. It's quite literally that simple. Like the global passive is like your okay, like if the global passives are what people were saying, where it's like they're gonna give you crit damage and all this other shit, which was like some of the, it was game breaking. What do you mean? Just don't die. I don't understand. Have you not attempted to just not die? Yeah, I know Patrick's kidding, but it's like people were saying that it's game breaking, bro. Have you just attempted to not die? I promise you it works. Look at Patrick. It's so game breaking. If the wolf that they're addicted to using in all endgame modes kills one of my characters, he probably got 70 more AoE attacks. They one-shot the rest of my team and they got revived by Castrus. So I literally never needed Castrus passive, never. Yeah, because if you have like a good account, you don't need Castrus. Like you really don't. You don't even need a good account. Like if you have... What ifs truly ruined the game unplayable even? It really did. We legitimately, like, Wuthering Honkai Star Rail took a big hit because, no, I mean, obviously it didn't. It didn't absolutely did not make it take a big hit. I think Cash just sold an insane amount. But, like, its PR in the West took such a big hit on what ifs, right? Like, it was all what ifs. It never came to fruition. It's never come to pass, and no one has ever seen it again. But it was all because of what ifs that people just stopped playing the game. Like, that's so fucking stupid. My vengeance will be sacrificed, then killed again. The hardest road lies ahead. I will be the mirror of the world. I even lost my morals because I pulled for global passive. I did too. I just didn't tell anybody. I think I held on to the secret that I had Castrus for like 2 patches, or for like a patches of 2. I had Castrus, like I only like hinted at it, but I never told anyone that I pulled for Castrus for like 2 patches. I don't have her. Dude, you gotta get her. I'm saying that right now. If not for her damage, for her animations, bro. She's so good. She's so insane. Rin, you didn't pull Castrus. She just joined your account without your consent. Yeah, bro. I don't understand. I don't know if it was like a bug or something. You know how sometimes the bank sometimes puts money in your account? Yeah. It's kind of the same thing, but I think Mihoyo accidentally gave me Castrus, so I just have her on my account. What did she say? What if HSR but you're gay 90%? What? We blind you saw another. You're an upsiding citizen. More people should be like you, Patrick. Yeah, Patrick, I'm so glad, Patrick, you have the morals that everyone should have. They gave me E6 Japard. I mean, you know, maybe he'll Pretty good. I said be blind. I said it too early. I mean, so anyways, chat, Reba Mento, am I right? We got Beatrice recently. I mean, the game got Beatrice. I didn't get Beatrice. I fucking lost a 50-50. Finite. Copy that. Wow, wow. Chat, don't look. I'm looking at 4chan. What is this? Okay, I'm so glad I didn't actually show my screen. Is it still grindy? Yeah. I've gotten to the end, so it's kind of less grindy to get your characters once you get to later levels, but I think it's just because I'm coping. I think you got to like max level, didn't you, Patrick? I said like you said that. What is this? Rin walked into the forbidden lands of 4chan. Listen, I like okay, so I watch these videos called Parrot 4chan, and he shows like VTuber 4chan reactions, and they're really funny. I got to around the end. Yeah, I think it's still as grindy as you would think it is. Oh hey, they put more Kazehana on 4chan. Zen should just stop the TTS gig already. Sure, TTS gives you more privacy because you don't reveal your actual voice, but it's soulless text to speak. I'm not gonna lie, I was a little bit peeved. Like I got a little jealous of Zentrea because she always uses the TTS. Because around the time that she started making music, it's like, bro, what do you mean I've been out here so having like such an existential crisis about making music that I stopped doing it? And you could just do it because you have TTS and you literally never have to sing yourself. Like, that legitimately pissed me off so much. I was so upset, and I realized that I was just being jealous. Like, instead of being jealous, I should have just been better. But, like, bro. Whatever. Sure, TTS gives me an actual voice, but it's soulless. Text speak bot does not have any emotional factor to it. I forgot they did. You know what's really funny? They also did the Valentine... VShojo did a Valentine's thing with Zentrea using the TTS stuff. Don't ask me how I know. Anyways. Yeah. But they gave it out for free, though. That's all that really matters. I don't really care. They gave it out for free. That's pretty good. Imagine you're crashing out and type, "Oh no, I am crashing out. I cannot take this," and spoken in extreme monotone voice baffles me to somehow got fans to actively watch this. Bro, I would watch Zentrea on mute. You see how thick she is? Hell yeah, I would watch that. Dude, people are... As always, people are just like getting there, like arguing with each other. It's pretty funny though. Asuka R hash. Samui admitted she was right all along. What is this? VTubers are just virtual e-girls. Y'all who make fun of normal e-girls but sim for VTubers are invalid in my eyes. Shit. That's just like getting a job at a company, complaining you gotta work, and then be mad that you're unable to zero cycle or beat the end game mode for late game players in reasonable time for cycles. What? I should have used more Kafka, because Kafka is a lot better now. VTubers are just e-girls max. not saying you're right. I'm not saying you're right, but I'm not saying you're wrong. I don't even know how people grow. Dude, I don't know how people grow on Twitter. To me, it's not wrong. Oh my god, when they say daily news, they mean it. Divergent Universe Protocol 6 is annoying. I haven't gotten further to the protocol, but I think I can make it. I just haven't done it yet. I feel like I have the teams to do it. I just haven't like tried it yet. Because I'm a puss. I'm a beach. Rosie Bell moves such a cutie. I got to the last upgrade. I lost 6 in a row. Rin, it's actually so stupid easy to do. I'll probably do it. I just like... The way I do Divergent Universe is I'll do it like on a day where I come back from work and I'm just like, whatever. And so I was just like, whatever. I'll just like switch. Who gives a fuck, really? You literally just spam destruction blessings for no reason. Okay. I could do that. The only reason why I wasn't doing it is because I didn't have the sustain to do it, but I do have it now. So I would definitely give it another shot. Is this a new video from Daily Gogurt? God, I love Daily Gogurt. Oh, she did. Oh, wait, this is different. I want to react to a Giga video. Not because I want to... I don't want to react to a Giga video because she's right or anything. I want to do it because, God, I love Giga. I love her auntie voice. Holy shit. No, Giga, you will not convince indies to flip their morals to support a gambling-powered birthplace website. Bro, it's Kick. I don't understand why people really care that Kick has gambling on it. People act like they're that one picture of also, have we already been live for almost an hour? Holy shit, man. Maybe just chatting is a lot easier than I think it is. I don't know why people are so... Why do they care about gambling that much? Like, it's such a weird thing to die on. Like, you don't have to click on it. Just don't click it. I don't understand. What happens if you don't click on it? They don't kick you off the website. That's not how that works. Giga being a moron yet again? Whoa. Now you hold it right there. Now you hold that for a second, brother. Don't you talk to my Giga like that. Don't you talk to my short Italian woman like that, bro. She has the auntie voice, so she's always right. I could talk about that in another video. Kick has gambling on it. Well, your favorite gacha game does too. Yeah, literally everything has gambling in it. I don't really care. And then people are like, well, what about the kids? Bro, fuck them kids. Hello? If they want me to like care about what happens to the kid, I don't care, bro. I don't care. I legitimately could not give a fuck. Like, I'm saying it now. I really don't care. Just don't click on it. It's really that simple. Why are your kids on the internet unsupervised? Yeah, why are they near a gambling site to begin with? In other words, my go LeBron James, fuck them kids. Like John Cena once said, fuck them kids. I have a picture like that on my phone. I love it so much. You know, Overwatch and CS had gambling too, and one of them, Mark. Yeah, I remember that. She's Italian, so she's right. She's Italian and she's short, so she's right. It's about her height. It's the fact that she's 4'8". The Italian does like give her a buff, but it's mostly because she's short. Are you telling me that a short Italian woman would be wrong? I don't think so. All right, we've actually spent so much time just dicking around that this is actually gonna. We should probably start this because I actually have to get to work tonight, and I don't know how long I'm gonna get through this. I have to like legitimately mind my time. Why is this on 4K? I mean, I could probably watch it on 4K, but still. Short opinion irrelevant until seen as cute or hot. I mean, she's short, bro. It's gonna depend. I think her and Mousy are like the same height. They're both like 4'8", if I remember. Watching Mugen in 4K seems like a little overkill. Yeah, that's not gonna happen. Oh god, here we go. All right. Should I actually record it, or should I just cut it out of stream? Cutting it out of stream might be easier. That way I don't have to mess it up. V Shoujo's been caught in 4K. That's probably why it cut it. It brings it up to 4K. All right. I'm not going to record it. I'm just going to pull it from the stream. It might be at lower quality. Go really good. Chat! The V Shoujo video. This is we're live right now on stream. We know this was going to take way too long. So I decided to stream it instead. Come by the stream whenever you feel like. You know, youtube.com/BlueDemonRin, twitch.com/BlueDemonRin, kick.com/BlueDemonRin. Chat! How the top tier agency got exposed as dystopian nightmare. The American nightmare. Cody Rhodes. Anyways, let's go. I don't know how long this is going to take, but I got a timetable on this because I got to go to work eventually. Anyway, chat, let's go.
On July 21st, 2025, Iron Mouse, one of the biggest VTubers on the planet, would suddenly and without prior warning post this video titled Why I Left VShoujo.
Oh.
One of the most iconic and recognizable agencies in the industry that she's been with since 2020, so almost 5 years now. It would be in this video that she reveals to the world for the first time ever that VShoujo had stolen over $500,000 from her that were meant to go to a charity. Something.
Where is the money, Lebowski? God, I really shouldn't stop this, but still. Where's the money, goddammit? I almost said Sakana because I have Face Connect on the mind, but you know. The money's just gone. Gunrun just took the money and he left. Legitimately, the company is gone. Everything is gone. Like the building is empty. The building's not even there anymore. I don't know. I'm just saying that. But everything has crumbled, and we still have no idea where this money is. And Gunrun has nowhere to be found. Run is in his name. Yeah, really, shit. He lived up to his name. That's for sure.
That even a comic book supervillain wouldn't think of doing. But it only got worse.
Where's the money,
here.
VShoujo?
Soon enough,
where's my
have
money?
Previous and current talents of VShoujo, as well as some other very prominent VTubers in the industry.
I remember someone came into my chat and was like, "You seem so much happier on stream. You know, when you were covering the VShoujo drama, you seemed a little unhappy." Which, to be fair, I was pretty upset because like it happened to a lot of my actual like idols and people that I look up to. So yeah, I'm okay. Let's just say that.
Revealed
I'm okay.
To us
I don't mind covering
was
this.
Behind the scenes, how they were mistreated, and how this once iconic company was nothing more than a facade, hiding behind it an extremely toxic and disastrous management that was leading it. But some of these crazy revelations, these bombshells that these VTuber talents were telling us, occurred years ago, making us revisit past controversies and incidents that this company was in and see it from a completely different perspective.
True.
Now with this new added context. This is why, in order to truly understand the depth of this...
God, the old VShoujo with Neanders, fruit, old Zentrea's old design, I remember that. Melody. I feel like I didn't really know Melody at the time when I first started watching VShojo. I mostly started watching I mostly watched Mousy in the beginning, and then I eventually started watching Silverveil. But like, I don't know when I caught around to Zentreya. It should have been before her Nilla Hister cosplay. I know that much because I really loved her Nilla Hister stuff. And then I watched Melody. And I think by that time, Nianos was gone.
Catastrophe, I had no choice but to go back to the absolute beginning, even before Vishoja was founded, even talking about the origins of its CEO, Gunra. And this 2-hour video is the result of that. We're going to be going through all the major lows and highs of Vishojo, all the way to its very violent
Shout out to Monarch, who was there for a total of 5 minutes.
With no exaggeration. This is the biggest VTuber-related controversy in history.
Is that from like Batman over here, this picture?
So, without further ado, we're
getting the VShojo lore. We're getting to everything,
The
Lord,
dot-com
please.
crash was a catastrophic financial incident that took place in the US around the year 2000.
No way we're going back to 2000. Holy.
You see, the World Wide Web had been introduced in the early 1990s, and early adopters would quickly understand that this was going to change life as we know it. So all of a sudden, the word internet held a lot of weight.
By the way, the dude who stole the money ran away with it.
The world. So obviously, if a company was going to operate on that internet, then it was going to be a part of this new world order that stands to be very profitable. This is when investors would decide to throw stacks of cash at any company claiming to operate on the internet. There was truly no need to dive into any specifics about how they were operating, their costs, and how they planned to make money. Just the fact that they were on the internet meant that they were going to be successful because this was going to
I'm surprised he didn't start with, in the beginning, the universe started with a big bang.
Change the world. Soon enough, the word internet would lose all meaning, becoming a buzzword like AI is in 2025. If a company claims to have AI in their product, then their stock skyrockets in a day. It's ridiculous. And so, after years of euphoria and investing in anything internet-related, investors would realize at the end of 2000 that many of these businesses weren't even generating any revenue. They literally had no way to make money. So everyone started panic selling at the same time, causing the bubble to literally burst. The majority of these companies went extinct and very few survived. This would actually be quite similar to what happened with live streaming websites, although on an extremely smaller scale and not affecting any global financial institutions.
How many other live streaming websites were
have
there?
you ever heard of the website
Battlecam? What is that?
Well, that's normal, but don't bother Googling it because it doesn't even have a Wikipedia page. But at the time when it was founded in the early
my god, dude, imagine dude, that's gotta suck that your website was down so early in the internet that like you don't even have a Wikipedia page.
2000s, it had a proper community and a sizable amount of streamers competing against each other in challenges in order to win cash prizes. And while the majority of things related to this website were lost to history, one of the only things we still have left is a clip of Keemstar crying when he was shown a picture of how bad his balding had become. And speaking of Keemstar, in this now,
I'm so glad the only somehow we still preserved something making fun of Keemstar. I think we've done our job. I think that was the only thing that's ever been needed to be preserved from that.
Very infamous clip, he would start off his rant saying, "F this, I'm on Block TV with my hands up," referring to yet another streaming website that was lost to history.
What is that?
In the early 2000s, there were so many of these, but unfortunately, 99% of these websites would cease to exist.
This part makes me feel so old.
Would be lost to history. Except one in particular, Justin.tv. It was founded in the year 2007 and was named after its founder, Justin Khan. But initially, you couldn't even stream on the website. Only Justin could. Its entire purpose was centered around Justin and him live streaming his entire life. He called it life casting.
How many
Today,
people
we
watched?
call it IRL streaming. And when I say that he would stream everything, I mean it. I mean, this is him sleeping right here. And during this interview, he's literally live with his apparatus that he made himself.
That's kind
Eventually,
of cool.
this trend of live casting would catch on. And Justin TV would allow...
Wow, and then, like, surely nothing bad came about people IRL streaming, right, chat? Surely nothing terrible happened from that. There was nothing bad. Everyone is respectful everywhere they... Okay.
Anyone to create an account and broadcast themselves live to, well, a group of strangers. And as the platform continued to grow beyond anyone's expectations, in 2011, it would come up with a decision that would change everything forever. The creation of
Streaming made the world better. I think so, yeah.
A website from Justin.tv that was not only centered on just live streaming, but more specifically centered on live streaming video games. But early on, after Twitch.tv had been created, the best
Wait, you're saying Twitch used to be for streaming video games? Whatever happened to that?
I could describe how the website functioned was more like a Discord
Dude,
server.
it's so much different now. When you look at, because sometimes, because it'll show me the amount of people viewing on a certain category, and since today I'm just reacting, I put myself under just chatting. There's 300,000 viewers right now on that stream, on that category alone. Stream and YouTube were a mistake. We need to make a time machine and send humanity back a billion years.
In the sense that everyone kind of knew each
No,
other.
I use YouTube for a lot of tutorials. I kind of need those.
Everyone
I would
knew
have been stuck in a few Genshin puzzles if it wasn't for that. Sorry, go ahead.
who the most prominent streamers were, but more importantly, Twitch staff was very approachable.
what
They'd
those
always be in
views
someone's
are doing,
chat,
sure.
making the streamers feel like they were really part of a community. And at the time, what
Watching
really
hard.
differentiated Twitch from other websites was their global emotes. You could use these in any streamer's chat and you wouldn't have to pay a single thing. But what was
Raise
really
your
interesting
dongers.
here is that many of the early emotes were inside jokes that only people on the website would understand. One form of these inside jokes was creating emotes
Anelli.
out of Twitch staff in funny pictures, like this one right here by the name of Anele. This was one of the earliest employees at Twitch. And another emote that you'd find that was based on a staff member as well was
Oh,
the
Gunrun worked at
emote.
Twitch?
What made this emote special is that whenever you saw a streamer encounter some sort of technical difficulty, the chat would start spamming it as a way to summon Gunrun himself, the staff member that the emote was based on. He was seen as a genius who understood live streaming like no one else. In fact, when Business Insider went to
okay.
Twitch to visit their office and create an article on the
Wow.
people who
Wait,
worked
there he is.
the first image you're greeted with when you click on the article is Gunrun himself.
Huh, it's like my first time seeing Gunrun. I don't know if I'm surprised if that's what he looks like. Look at him. He looks so happy and full of hope. Surely he won't make terrible decisions and he'll live a regular, happy life, right? Chat, you're too quiet. What do you mean? Why is no one saying it? Okay.
Sitting on his desk, smiling. This is how Business Insider would describe him, saying, Justin the
Prehistoric
Gunrun
gacha
Ignacio went from
summoning on
esports
Twitch.
fanboy to streaming guru by the time he was 21. Twitch hired him out of college to help run thousands of simultaneous video streams and orchestrate the tech for its signature tournaments. In 2013, Forbes named Ignacio in its 30 under 30 games list.
Wow.
So yeah, no big deal. This guy was just kind of a genius.
What?
He'd be single-handedly helping Twitch run these massive
Bro,
streams of hundreds
how
of thousands
does
of
all
viewers
this
watching
happen to
tournaments
someone like
from
this?
Dota 2 and League of Legends, for example.
Oh, ew.
And additionally, he was
Well,
in
actually,
the
at this point, I
Forbes
still like
30
League.
under 30 list for 2014, which is a list made up of 30 people who are under the age of 30 that have been a huge influence in their respective industry. Not bad for a 21-year-old. But if that wasn't enough, he was
I thought 30 under 30 was 30-year-olds who made like millions of dollars. Sorry.
also taking Justin Khan's vision to the next
Gunrun
level,
TV?
creating a backpack filled to the brim with technology that could withstand streaming IRL at high resolution with no interruptions.
He made this?
He called it the Gunrun IRL backpack. Overall, as time would go by, Twitch and its staff
What?
would get a lot of attention.
Bro,
Forbes
Gunrun
would
has
be
done
calling it
so
the
much I didn't even
ESPN
know
of video
about.
games. It seemed unstoppable. So
Banana,
much so that even
banana.
Amazon took notice and eventually bought the website for $970 million on August 26,
they haven't seen any of that
2014,
money back,
making
that's
its
for sure.
founders very rich, but also ending its tight-knit culture centered around staff and streamers, transforming it into a very corporate.
Bro is a secret celebrity. He
After this
kind of
buyout,
is, yeah.
Gunrun would keep working at Twitch for the next few years. He would also keep developing his Gunrun IRL backpack and would create the company Unlimited IRL that sells these backpacks straight up to streamers who want to stream IRL.
I think
with
these
high
are, like,
quality and
insanely
no
expensive,
interruptions.
like
and while I'm sure
30,
his life was going good
like
and he was
10
achieving things
grand
that
or
he found
something?
fulfilling, there would come a time where his life and pretty much almost every human's life would change forever, making many of us divert to places that we never thought we'd end up
What
in.
is this picture,
and that
bro?
would be none other than the COVID 2020
Oh, yeah.
pandemic. During the pandemic, many people were isolated and couldn't
The day
do
that
much
Genshin blew
outside.
up.
This meant that for many, in order to stay sane to some degree, they had to keep themselves entertained.
Did the
And only way
V
to
Shoujo
do
money
that-
make backpacks? No, because I feel like he would have made his money. Where did that money go? Wait, his backpack should be selling insanely well with people who do IRL because everyone's doing IRL. Where did the money go?
that was through the internet.
How did that not make? How did every avenue that he not have enough money to pay back to keep him out of debt? Bro, he pocketed that money 100%.
This completely skewed the numbers
Genshin
on
Impact,
so
woo!
many things, Genshin Impact being an example. Launching at the end of 2020 and getting so many players that it had made over $1 billion in under 6 months.
Also, he's using
But
Honkai
video
Star Rail
games wouldn't
music,
be
which
the
is really
only
ironic.
thing that would go up in numbers substantially.
This is
Entertainment
the
of all kinds would skyrocket,
Penacony
including
music.
streaming. This also included a fairly new
Is
genre
that
of streaming,
Gargura?
which was
And I don't know the rest
you
of
see,
them.
the pioneer of VTubing was none other than
Kizuna AI.
AI, starting her activities at the end of 2016. Unlike Hatsune Miku, which is a virtual being
Hatsune
run by a
Miku!
team of people and a corporation, Kizuna AI was actually a person.
I didn't know that I was following her on TikTok on my original TikTok account, which was like from around this time. I didn't know that I had followed her, or I followed her. I didn't know who she was. And man, I feel a little embarrassed about that. I'm not gonna lie. I apologize for that, Miss AI.
That person was
Or
using
Miss
a
Kazuma.
virtual avatar to express themselves. And even though she was a streamer, much of her brand was centered around the Japanese idol template. She wasn't just a streamer. She could sing and she could perform. She behaved like an idol, and the expectations of an idol were laid upon her shoulders. But for years to come after 2016,
Oh, that's a beautiful
VTubing would really
picture.
remain a very Japanese-centric form of entertainment. This would change in 2020 when many content creators and,
This is
well, many
VR
people in
chat.
general would start using VR chat
Oh,
in
okay,
order to
that's why.
combat isolation. Seeing so many people express themselves through avatars would make the idea of a VTuber way less
I
weird.
can never
than
get
it
into
used
VR
to be.
chat. I
This
don't
would
know why.
contribute to how
not
VTubing would
for
start
me.
to all of a sudden blow up beyond proportion. But of course, the ones that would benefit the
Hololive,
most and the quickest would
baby!
be the two biggest VTuber corporations
Oh
on
God,
the planet,
Russia's still
both
there.
based in
Shout out to
Japan
Russia.
and already possessing a big established
Is that a shout out to Russia? Maybe not. Look, chat. The gang's all here. Nothing ever happened. They're all here. It's them. Hollow Myth. They're all together.
talent roster.
Anyway.
They would go by the names of Hololive.
VR Mental
and
Asylums
VG
are furries and
Sanji.
unhinged.
They were absolutely
Hololive, the good
dominating
ending.
streaming in ways that people could have never imagined. And to give you an idea of just how much VTubing had blown up, when Nijisanji first went public on the Japanese stock market, it was valued at $1.1
Wow.
billion. Yes,
Surely a lot of that is from the EN side, right? I think they kept that going.
a
Anyways,
VTuber agency valued at $1.1 billion.
Hmm.
These are not rookie numbers by any means. VTubing was very hard to ignore at that
that was
point.
Melody.
So much so that even popular streamers that would have
Is that
never
Poker
delved into
Mains?
this before saw the potential and tried
Surely
to do
no one
some
got upset about
VTubing
this.
themselves, trying to snatch a piece of that pie. Look, it was safe to say that by that point, there was global demand for VTubers. It wasn't centered on Japan anymore. And while that was really exciting, it also kind of came with a problem. Ever since Kizuna Ai, VTubers were seen like idols. So these Japanese idol expectations came with being a VTuber when you worked for these two corporations. This meant that they owned everything, even your model. If you were to graduate, which is a Japanese idol way to say retire, then you wouldn't get to keep your model. You would lose your entire identity because it belongs to the corporation.
Right.
Additionally, it was cool to see these corporations expand to English
I
speaking.
still don't understand why people have a problem with that. Like, bro, you're signing up to a company that's not yours. Hello? Like, everyone, I feel like people are still complaining about that the you know, oh, you have to join this. If you join this agency, then you don't get to keep your model and blah 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 blah. Then just don't join. I don't understand. You're there to make them money. They're not there to make you money. You're like, you're making it seem like you're the one that has to come out on top. Well, no, the company has to come out on top.
Talent, but even though this industry was blowing up, there was no real agency in the West. Gunrun would see this as clear as day, which is why on November 24th, 2020, he would announce the creation of the talent agency VShoujo, a San Francisco-based VTuber talent agency with its main goal being centered around talent freedom,
Crazy how they
allowing
fire-
any talent that chooses to leave the company in the future to retain their full IP and model, as well as their brand.
It's crazy how they can't use fire or retire. They have to use graduate. Well, it's an idol thing, right? It's a Japanese idol thing because they would graduate to like I think they would graduate. It was something like because idols were all groups, and so when they leave the group, they counted as graduating to go on to the next part of their life. So it's just something that stuck. It's not so much that they have to do it. It's just something that it's just tradition. Like it's just a big tradition thing. You don't have to do it, but you can, like, it's just like I said, it's just tradition.
and in general. He would co-found this company with Mountain Dew, who was a content creator, and would hold the post
Oh
of
my
Chief
God.
Marketing Officer
I
at
hate this
Vishojo,
guy.
and Daniel Sanders, which would be their third and final co-founder. He would hold the position of Chief Operating Officer and would sometimes act as the Chief Financial Officer. Now, what really made Vishojo special was the fact that their founding members were already very well established in the VTubing community as independent VTubers. this
Zentreya,
was
Iron Mouse,
completely
Silver,
different from corporations like
Melody,
Nijisanji and
Fruit,
Hololive,
and
with every talent
Hime.
starting from scratch with a new identity when they
Still
were
never
hired.
seen a Hime
Here
stream.
you
Is
had
that weird?
7 very prominent VTubers
And I've been watching it for
carrying
years.
over their
I've been watching
identity
the
into
Vishojo
Vishojo
for years.
and having their already substantial communities follow them. The founding members were Nyaners, Zentreya, Iron Mouse, Silverveil,
Neanders.
Project Melody,
Neanders.
Apricot Fruit, and Hime Hajime. A few months later, they would also add Vebe to their roster,
Wow,
another
Vebe.
independent VTuber with a substantial community. This wasn't just another VTuber agency. This was one that had the potential to not only revolutionize the VTubing industry as we knew it, but to also compete head-to-head with the big two, which were Hololive and Nijisanji,
Damn.
without being a Japanese corporation. And I mean, why wouldn't they? They had the genius Forbes 30 Under 30 CEO, and they had top-tier talent, some of the best in
That's
the
true.
industry. It
Oh, dude,
normally
on
should have been
paper, they
smooth
should have been,
sailing
like,
from here. But unfortunately, barely a year after being established, Vishojo would face a monumental controversy that would significantly stain its reputation in the VTubing industry.
Which one's the first one? Is it?
Nuxtaku is a content creator
Oh,
turned
Nux.
VTuber that heavily benefited from the VTuber boom of the pandemic. He was one of the first independent VTubers to ever reach 2 million subscribers
I don't watch Nuxhaku. I don't have a problem with him. Chad, it's a man. Why would I watch a man?
on YouTube, and his most successful content would be centered on collaborations, anime critiques, and of course, Mr. Beast style content in which he would donate to people on Twitch in order to get them to do challenges.
Ooh,
His
okay.
rise to fame was very quick. He practically knew everyone in the VTuber industry, and he had a very mutually beneficial relationship with Vishojo talents, collaborating with them on many occasions, and by that point be making content with them quite regularly. However, on
That's
October
pretty
20th,
pog.
2021, to everyone's
Listen.
surprise,
I will say I don't watch him. I respect him. I respect the hell out of him.
he would tweet this out, saying, "Someone is trying to dox VTubers by masquerading as Vishojo. I can't say more at this time, but please share this around and be careful. They tried to dox me, but I sniffed them out and gave them wrong info, so don't worry about me. I spoke to the CEO of Vishojo and I'm trying to untangle everything. I'll update you when I can." You see, Vishojo's domain was vishojo.com. That's what they used for their emails. But there was someone impersonating Vishojo staff sending emails to VTubers under the vishojo.org domain, hoping to gain
Oh.
their trust and doxing them, uncovering
That's
their real names,
stupid.
addresses, and
Just leave VTubers alone, bro. Like, I don't understand. This is a wild time, dude. This is insane. I didn't know about this, right? This is around the time when I first started watching VTubers and stuff like that. So a lot of the big controversies, like a lot of big controversies of a lot of stuff came after I joined, right? Like Genshin, VShojo stuff. A lot of stuff came after I came back and started making content.
eventually
Still a wild time, bro. Dude,
swatting
it's
them.
insane.
Now, Nux was already quite popular.
It's a wild time because a lot of, there's a shift in perception of the public with political correctness and stuff like that. So some people are still trying to keep woke stuff, quote unquote. People are still trying to keep woke stuff going, and it's becoming less and less powerful, I guess you would say. So people are pulling away from it more, and people are still trying to keep it going. Is the way I would say it, right? I came after.
He would have many people try to dox him. He already knew what to do. Unfortunately, though, that doesn't apply to everyone. A smaller VTuber by the name of Saki Nightshade would tweet this out around the same time, saying, "Today may have been the most exciting day I've had in a couple of years. Holy fuck, my emotions are off the charts
Ooh.
right now. What a day. Unfortunately, I don't think I can elaborate, which makes me extremely sad." She then goes on to say, "All right, so what I can say is that I've been contacted for something amazing, and if all goes well, it could be truly life-changing. If that doesn't answer questions, I'm so sorry. I'd like to not say anything else about it." So that person, posing as Vishojo staff under the vishojo.org domain, had sent an email to Saki saying, "We want to recruit you to Vishojo. raising her hopes up and demanding personal information, which she
Oh
gave.
my
The day
gosh,
after,
no
she would tweet this
way.
out, saying, "Well, the group of people who've targeted Nyaners and leaked her info earlier have my
Nyaners.
info and sent the cops to my door earlier. They're threatening to do more. Other than the threats to leak my info, they aren't saying much else. I guess I should have figured it'd be too good to be true. Oh well, not much can be done." And we can see Nux in
That would be God. That would be so soul crushing to me, bro. That's such bro. What a couple of pencil neck fucking dorks you have to be to do that to someone, bro. You're such a dweeb. Like if you do something like that, honestly, bro, you're such a pussy if you do that, bro. What is wrong with you? That's so messed up, bro. I don't know, man.
the replies saying, "DM me,
God, that actually rubbed me the wrong way so badly. Holy shit.
please." So that was the situation. Very messy.
I hope Psyche's
very
doing
tricky,
okay
and
these
very
days.
nasty. And Saki gave out a very important piece of information. The group of
Saki.
people targeting her were the same people who had doxed an important member of Vishojo, Nyaners, earlier, leaking some of her personal information. But at this point, we didn't know just how much.
What's up, Beta?
11 days later, Nux would tweet, "The last 10 days were the most insane of my life. No words could describe how appreciative I am of you and the friends I've made here. Can't wait until I show you everything. I'm changing the game, boy." Teasing something that was in the works. Over the next few weeks, he would keep teasing something that was about to release, and on November 22nd, almost a month after he had received that phishing email, he would tweet out, "Recently, there was a group of doxers that have been harassing VTubers and swatting them by impersonating Vishojo. We spent the last month tracking them down. Please share this video." With the video being titled, "I caught a swatter that doxed 12 VTubers, myself
caught
included."
him.
In it, he would talk about how the email
I watched the
scam
video
worked,
before, and it's gonna
how
be one of my
Saki
favorite.
Nightshade was
I'm
affected,
still-
and then would go on to give us
We're in the-
information
we're in the
that we
works.
didn't know about, which is how 12 VTubers got doxed when we only knew
We're
of 2,
16
and how
minutes
Nux had
in.
gained footage of the doxer in a call with a bunch of friends because one of those friends happened to be a Nux fan and was willing to backstab the doxer. And finally, he would specify that that doxer was facing jail time, and if anyone had the same idea of doxing VTubers, they would end up in handcuffs as well.
Nice.
Additionally, when the video was initially posted, Vishojo themselves, their official page, had replied saying, "Thank you, Nux, for working with us. We've added our own response to the events," specifying that during this, no information was breached from Vishojo and that the fake domain was taken down. It was never going to be used for harmful things ever again. Overall, it seemed like Nux had taken the time to make a detailed video of the events, and that Vishojo as an agency not only approved of it, but was able to get through this thanks to this cooperation.
That's pretty
So
good.
imagine the shock when all of a sudden, almost every single VTuber talent at Vishojo would speak out against the video and tell the world how disappointed they are in Nux
Us
for
following this,
releasing
and it was the worst
This same
thing?
sentiment would of course
What?
be echoed by their communities, and it had reached a point where Nux was forced to make a response, tweeting RE cybersecurity/doxing incident, read, linking a twit longer.
Top 10
And
greatest
before we even
fall
get
in
to the twit
community
longer, on
history.
this post you can see Vishojo members stating publicly how disappointed they were with
Wait, what is he saying? "I'm so disappointed in you and hurt that you are doing this when you full well know what's truly going on, and we asked you to take it down. We told you we feared for our safety and you didn't care. I don't understand. What did he do? What? What? What was shown in the video that people are so mad? Just from the info available, I've always had the impression that you had a lot of talks. You had a lot of talks about this stuff. It's been kind of confusing to follow from an outside party. I'm just glad that you're all safe. Okay, cool. Really relieve you privated the video. I'm still beyond disappointed. The girls begged for days for what? What was? I don't understand.
Nux and his actions.
Hirohe? I love
Aaron
Hirohe.
Mouse would say that she was so disappointed and hurt that he was doing this when he full well knew what was truly going on. "We asked you to take it down. We told you we feared for our safety and you didn't care." Fruit would say, "Asking for you to take it down because I felt my safety was in trouble and for you to go to the company
I guess
and
I haven't
ask
seen
for
the
numerous
video.
terms and conditions in return, that's not friendship." Silverveil, Vey, Zentrea, Hime, and Melody would all echo the same statement, publicly announcing that not only were they disappointed with Nux, but that he was a liar, a clout chaser, and someone that didn't care about any of his friends at Vishojo.
Okay.
With Hime saying that the girls had begged for days for this video to be removed out of fear for their safety.
We would have to be able to
and
see the
Project
video to
Melody
know what
saying
happened,
He
right?
flagrantly disregarded our team's feelings and the facts our security department shared with him. But the biggest response was
Nyaners.
from Nyaners, who wrote a huge message in her Discord denouncing Nux's actions and expressing how disappointed she was with what he did. saying, "Didn't want to have to type out something stressful like this on what was supposed to be a chill Sunday and my only day off so far this week, but I do not condone the video that Nux has released where he postures himself as our savior and seemingly takes credit for pretty much an entire year's worth of painstaking work done by Vishojo's cybersecurity team. I would know that it took that long and took that much work since I was one of the people who unfortunately had to work with them, and I'm incredibly thankful for their help. Whether or not
There's a
any
plot
of the
twist?
information he
Okay.
gathered helped or not is beside the point, as releasing a video like he did about a
Try
very
not to spoil
sensitive
it,
and
Patrick.
potentially dangerous situation that involves me and many of my friends only draws unneeded attention to it for some quick views, when if a video were to be made about this at all, it should have been handled with a lot more care and consideration. But for someone like Nux, who has consistently used my friends for clickbait views and has done things like try to bait my friend into watching the Logan Paul Suicide Forest video on stream, and secretly recorded a private call with another one of my friends without permission and then proceeded to use said call to make a video, it's clear that our safety or feelings about any of this is not the priority. The
Okay.
past year was hell for me due to the situation, and it's straight up painful to see it being used in a video like this that doesn't treat the issue carefully at all. A video that he was even
Okay.
told not to release since it could potentially be harmful to us and many other VTubers who were targeted. Responding publicly draws even more attention to it, so I have to choose between sitting quietly and seeing him receive pats on the back for coming to our rescue when his video could encourage even more harassment, or calling him out and
But,
hoping
like,
he retracts
how?
what he said and takes the video down before it gains more traction. If he wanted to actually protect people, he could have made a general PSA video about how to keep your information safe online, or warn people about things like the fake Vishojo email situation in a way that didn't reveal a ton of unneeded sensitive information and paint himself as a hero. He doesn't care about helping us. If he did, he would have listened to several of our concerns when it came to how he treats people and uses them for content. This video ultimately makes things worse for us. Anything for views though, I guess. My heart goes out to anyone else who was affected by any harassment, and please be careful with giving out your information online. So
True.
obviously this was one hell of a statement. This wasn't just about Nux releasing a video that the talents at Vishojo didn't want released. It seems like they've had a problem with him for a long time with how he uses them for content. None of this had ever been talked about publicly, and it came as a shock. I mean, these people collabed all the time. It seemed like they were friends. Nux, on the other hand, would keep his statements shorter than Nyanner's, but would still manage to drop some pretty big bombshells,
Right.
saying, "This has been a stressful week for many, and I'm confident and proud of the community and the efforts that went towards resolving things efficiently. My latest video concerned someone that was maliciously impersonating Vishojo, and managed to trick individuals into giving personal information and doxing themselves and getting swatted. With the efforts of everyone involved, I believe this situation can be put behind us with the culprit behind these attacks having been brought to light. I
Okay.
do still fully stand by the need for raising awareness of phishing scams. I'm incredibly glad Vishojo released a very well-constructed cybersecurity statement addressing the situation, and you should all read it. In regards to my video, I worked with Vishojo on this for a while, as they mentioned in their statement in response to my video. I did show them my video before posting it, and I was not requested to refrain from uploading. The rumors that I had posted it regardless of being asked not to are untrue. In fact, leading up to the events of posting it, I was a part of a 4-hour conversation with their chief cybersecurity officer, overseen by an executive of Vishojo and one of the members of the group. I sincerely
Ooh, who was
apologize if my
that?
actions have caused any undue stress on anyone. It was not my intention. I was only hoping to contribute to keeping the community safe. With every statement someone would make during this incident, things would somehow make less sense. But regardless, for now,
It's
Nux
hard
did
to
mention that Vishojo released
So as of right now, because I don't know about the situation, right? As of right now, it's kind of hard to give an actual opinion on it because I haven't actually seen the video or what happens after. But let's just keep
a
watching.
very well-constructed cybersecurity
I'm
statement.
just saying, as of right
addressing the
now,
situation.
this seems
It
like
was
super
actually released
confusing.
just a few
If I were to have watched this at the time, I would be like, well, what the hell's happening?
hours before this twit longer, and it would be after they stealthily deleted their reply to his initial video
Oh.
tweet. But that's not all. This new cybersecurity statement had a completely different tone from that first reply. They would say things like, Vishojo does not endorse any statements or views by parties that have no official affiliation to Vishojo. Adding, the methods used to attack the other VTubers were confirmed to be unrelated to phishing and impersonating Vishojo. As mentioned before, the fake domain was created on October 14th, 2021 and survived for less than a week, and the other VTubers incidents happened outside of this time window. As mentioned before, thanks to partners, Vishojo confirms there are only 2 victims of this campaign.
Why not? What? Why would they do this whole like 180 thing on him as if Nux doesn't have like videos and he probably has emails, videos, and statements about all this stuff. And what? I don't understand what this is supposed to do. This is so weird. Why would you just like go? Actually, knowing Vishojo now, this does feel like something they would do, right? But like at the time, I would be insanely confused as to why they would do this 180 on someone like this.
referring to both Nux and Saki Nightshade. Things were getting very weird. It's like they were completely discrediting the person they were congratulating when the video came out.
Right.
But things only got weirder from here. After Vishojo had released their official cybersecurity statement, Nyaners would have this to say in her Discord. Vishojo was forced into making a statement on the matter after asking him repeatedly not to release this video. They had to issue corrections to the video since he would not, and there were several inaccuracies.
I totally get this. So then just show it. Why not show where this happened? There's no way you have had a voice call with him the entire time. No way that there was no text, evidence, stuff like that. Show the DMs. Why would you not have just shown them and be like, here's where we told them that you shouldn't do this. Here's the date. Here's where we show this. Like, just show it, bro. Literally, just show it and it'll absolve you of everything.
Within the video, and had to word the statement carefully to not anger his large following and make us a target for even more harassment.
Yeah,
I feel
that's gonna
especially
happen.
backed into a corner as I'm afraid to say anything even more publicly than I already am because I know it would invite more hate. I'm exhausted of pissing people off and having them hurl threats and shit at me and my family members constantly, so saying anything about this is scary for me. It sucks and I don't know what to do. Nux chose to release the video knowing that Vishojo did not want him to and told him it was a horribly bad idea. Myself and my family members experienced heavy harassment pretty much all year, and the entire situation had to be kept a secret, and I had to continue on as normal, acting happy even when I was terrified, so that I would not draw more attention to them and encourage them. Now he
Right.
releases a video making everything public like this in a way that is careless and dangerous to many people. It's mind-boggling to me. It's like making a video about how to make a bomb and showing it to a bunch of 12-year-olds. I don't want anyone to go and harass him or threaten him in any way. Please do not do anything like that. I just wanted to be able to finally say
I can kind of see this as well, because if Nux showed how these people did it, yeah, I would probably not show that. If you're showing people, hey, this is how these people were able to get the information off of VShojo, I can see that. I could see that side of the argument, but still, again, just show the DMs.
something because Cat's out of the bag anyway, and I'm also tired of sitting and watching him do fucked up things to my friends. So far, you probably are confused as hell, and that's normal because everyone was at the time. How is it that the official Vishojo account had given its stamp of approval to Nux and
Right.
thanked him for working with them when the talents were so clearly against the idea of a video? Something
Okay.
simply wasn't adding up at all. Something was missing, a big piece of the puzzle,
Yeah,
and no one really knew
someone-
what the hell it was. At this point, though, Nux as a target was fair game. According to every Vishojo talent, he had done something horrendous. So of course, just like with any cancellation, other people started piling up on him, talking about their bad experiences with him. And very few people actually took a step back and said, hey guys, listen, maybe we're going a bit too far here. Maybe we don't have all the facts. The situation was getting so critical that Nux had to release a formal apology. But in this apology video, he would show Discord logs between him and the cybersecurity expert that Vishojo had hired, Phoenix. He would reveal that these logs were in a group chat with one of the Vishojo girls and Gunrun, the CEO. In these logs, you could see that Nux was working on a video and Phoenix was fully aware of it. But instead of telling him, please don't post this, you're putting our talents in danger, he would be sent a draft of the video and he'd say this: not trying to downplay or anything, I really appreciate that you were providing info at 7:03. Do you think you'd be willing to blur out the word blank from the screenshot for the purposes of denying them notoriety? To which Nux said, okay, I can do that. Phoenix would then say, I appreciate that you are doing the public service announcement and that isn't the problem at all. My comment is narrowly specifically about praising that one fan that reached out. I am 99% certain that is a fellow member of the harassment gang and not a fan. So Phoenix's problem wasn't the video at all. He was completely down with the idea. He just thought that that fan who had leaked the doxer to Nux was actually part of the harassment gang and Nux was being socially engineered. At some point, Nux would say, honestly, I think this video will be helpful to you as well. If you need help with anything, feel free to reach out. To which Phoenix would say, thanks a lot. Would you be willing to include a link to a written response by us as well? It's not going to be anything against the video. It's going to be more about making sure people don't think that contract language is real and answer some likely FAQs that will result from all this. To which Nux said, of course. And of course, as you can see, this was their reply that they had deleted shortly afterwards. This video added even more confusion to the whole situation, because from these logs, it seemed like two people were working together, and the CEO was very well aware of it, and one of the girls that had called Nux out publicly was in this group chat seeing everything, very
Right.
well aware of the fact that he was going to post this video. And thanks to Fruit leaking her DMs with Nux at some point on Twitter, she would accidentally reveal who that Vishojo talent was, and it would turn out to be
Melody.
Project Melody.
Of course
In
it
these
is.
DMs, we can see Fruit and Nux arguing.
I kind of guessed it was Melody as well. I don't know. That was gonna be my guess, was that it was gonna be Melody. Also, what time is this? 1:24. Hold on, chat. I actually have to be right back. 1 sec. Gotta cut this out. Fuck. That's gonna be obnoxious to have to take out of the video. Okay, where were we? Melody. Right. Here we go.
And at some point, Nux says, I'm not sure what you mean. I had a group chat with Melody, Gunrun, and their head cybersecurity guy, and I showed them the video beforehand. They had a few notes, which I changed before uploading, and they asked me to link a statement they would write in the description.
Okay.
But that's so weird. As you saw earlier, Melody had posted a tweet calling him out, saying, I'm hurt Nux posted his doxing vid. He flagrantly disregarded our team's feelings and the facts our security department shared with him. I trusted and defended him only to feel secondary to getting clicks. If he meant to raise awareness to protect streamers, he would have corrected it. But she...
And there it is. And there it is. That's all I needed to do. All you needed to do is show the DMs, and then we know exactly who is here and who's behind. I don't want to say who's behind everything, but like then you'll know who to actually go to talk about this, because someone's name is going to come up in those DMs.
As well as Gunrun and Phoenix were in a call with Nux for 4 hours. This wasn't just confusion anymore. Someone was lying here. After these DMs would leak thanks to Fruit, Project Melody would delete her tweet because of the hate she would start getting. And shortly afterwards, apologies would start raining in. Fruit would say, Nux apologized to me privately yesterday as I apologized to him for subtweeting, and others would follow suit. Except one person in particular who was practically seen as the biggest backstabber in all this, Project Melody. She didn't make any public statements or apologies regarding this incident, and as far as we know, did not do so privately either. Nux has never mentioned this. It was especially weird since Nux had collabed with her the most out of anyone in Vishojo, and they've had a multi-year friendship. But by that point, the drama had been going on for quite a while now. The talents clearly just wanted to move on and get back to creating content, and it seemed like the community was heading in that direction too. But as things were finally starting to heal, Gunrun would make it a point to post this article on medium.com saying, addressing miscommunications, I hope this clears the air on the confusion, let's move forward together and not spread hate. This would be an article attempting to show that Vishojo already knew about the security accusations, did not condone Nux in any way, and was always behind their talents, while of course acknowledging some wrongdoings in the process. But they would refute the allegation that Vishojo gave Nux approval to release his video, saying that the reality is that Vishojo never at any point said that he had permission, nor were we asked. Vishojo was given limited time to suggest edits and create a statement. Politeness in Twitter reply text was misconstrued as approval/endorsement. Suggestions for edits were ignored beyond blurring of some names, and Phoenix makes efforts to educate Nux on why this is a bad move, which are ignored. But this wasn't just it. Gunrun also added more fuel to the fire by saying, staff's context. There is a negative history of interaction between Vishojo and Nux that led us to proceed with extreme caution.
I don't understand, bro. What is happening that there is always this constant back and forth where they're just not giving the whole thing, right? They're only like, it seems like there's always just something little that changes every now and then. It's not big changes, it's just like little changes. And It's kind of weird.
Something that had yet again come out of nowhere because, as I said earlier, people were under the impression that they were all friends. Gunrun would then post the full conversations that Nux had shown in his video, and in the first one it would be Phoenix imploring Nux not to fall for the bait of that one fan who reached out to him because it's not random. Their MO is to do this good cop, bad cop thing. But Nux wasn't having any of it. He was convinced it was a fan, he wasn't being socially engineered at any point.
Right.
This showed us that Nux was stubborn, and even though he understood some aspects of
Starting
doxing,
of a
was very
V-shoujo
naive,
pattern?
Sure. But never at any point in time.
After now seeing the V shoujo pattern post everything else, this is like really starting to be part of their MO, right? Like this is really, I'm really seeing that this is like their bread and butter. And this is how they really screw people over.
Phoenix expressed that he didn't want Nux to release the video, only sending him timestamps to change things. Gunrun would conclude this by saying, "We hope clearing the air here with our context helps put this drama behind all of us. I'm understanding of Nux's stance and hope our detailing from our side helps put everything into context.
No, actually
we
it
do not wish to
doesn't.
see
It
this
makes it
matter
worse.
escalate further. Do not send hate or harassment to anyone. We're looking forward to continuing work as usual and hope all fandoms can see the many perspectives of this complicated interaction between Vishojo and Nux. Thanks everyone for reading. Gunrun." Of course, as is the trend with this controversy, people were left even more confused after reading
Yeah, oh,
this.
I'm so
When you
glad
say
he cleared
something
the
like,
air,
"Thank you,
dude.
Nux, for working
Surely.
with us," how is that not a way of you saying that you approve of the video? It just didn't make any sense. Finally, Nux would post a video titled Moving Forward on his second channel and would detail how throughout the entire week of him releasing the video, he was barely sleeping, having anxiety attacks, and overall really showing us that no one here, including the Vishojo talents, had a good time. But even though I'm sure many people were hoping that things would die down there were still way too many questions surrounding this whole incident. A lot of things simply
course.
didn't make any sense, causing many YouTubers like Turkey Tom to make videos about this whole mystery surrounding this
Oh, I
incident.
didn't know he
and
made a video of
garnering
this.
over 1.2 million views. People weren't satisfied with how this concluded, and you can see that the top reply on Gunrun's post to Medium was Omni saying, "At least apologize to the dude? He got dragged for the past 2 days, and the deleted thank you tweet made it even worse. Nux took accountability, only fair to do the same, methinks." People
I
had
feel like, and I think to this day he still didn't have the closure of having people not hate him, right? I think from like I've heard him talk about this incident as early as like this year when he was in a podcast with Tectone. So I don't know if people have ever like let this go or forgiven him or anything like that.
many theories as to what had happened, how this miscommunication could have occurred. One of the most common ones that was even mentioned in Turkey Tom's video about the situation was that Nuxtaku was in the process of founding his own VTuber agency at the time. Vishojo's management saw this as a
Really?
threat, so they took the opportunity to character assassinate him in public, making him seem very problematic and making other VTubers not want to associate with him.
What?
Now, look, I'll admit, when I
Really?
first heard this theory, I thought, come on, this is way too
That's
far-fetched.
kinda-
But you have to remember that the VTubing scene back then was so much smaller than it is today. And Nux was at the absolute top. The guy had 2 million subscribers as a VTuber. He knew everyone in the scene. No one didn't know who he was.
Right.
He could have so easily made an agency that directly competed with Vishojo. But with Vishojo's management, as well as Project Melody, his friend of multiple years,
Yeah, he probably
truly
could have
stooped this low in
had a
order to
bigger
take down a
agency than
potential
Merriweather.
competitor?
I think
Honestly,
Mary has
as
that one,
someone
right?
who's covered the VTubing industry for a while now, that's not even the craziest thing I heard this week. But I think if we're going to take a more realistic approach with all the evidence we currently have, then what most likely happened is that Vishojo was totally down with the idea of letting Nux post the video. This tweet was sincere. However, when management saw how much this pissed off the talent, how they were completely against the idea of this video, they did a full 180, deleted the tweet, and backstabbed Nux into being the fall guy so that they wouldn't piss off their talents. When reading Nyanner's messages, it seemed like she had a very strong negative impression of Nux, saying things like, "He doesn't care about helping us. If he did, he would have listened to several of our concerns when it came to how he treats people and uses them
Right.
for content." Something echoed by other Vishojo talents when it came to criticizing him. It seemed like someone was getting some very wrong information, and maybe Nux wasn't the only victim here, the talents were too, they just had no idea. Regardless though, back then, no one really
Team
bothered
Vishojo
delving
versus Team
that
Nux.
deep, instead preferring to go either Team Nux or Team Vishojo, with Team Nux claiming that
Yeah,
Nux had
because this is like their first what do you call it? This is the first controversy, and you know, not to belittle Nux or anything like that, but people, how do I say this? It's not as big of a deal as like stealing money from a charity, right? And not to say that it's good that they did this to Nux or anything like that, or it doesn't matter that this happened to Nux. I fully appreciate the situation, and I think that Nux did a good job in going through and showing what these people did and eventually getting them in trouble, right, for phishing people. It's just like it's our word versus their word. And if all the V Shoujo girls have the consistent statement, it would be easier for them to just believe that this is what happened, right? But now looking at it now, I can get it.
Nothing wrong that he was the victim here, and with Team Vishojo being convinced that Nux is a clout chaser that doesn't care about anyone but himself.
Right.
The whole thing would truly stain Vishojo's reputation and show them as unprofessional. How could they ever compete with the likes of Hololive when they never had such weird petty drama? How could they compete with Nijisanji when none of the talents would ever dare to make a public statement criticizing another VTuber like that?
Oh boy, that didn't age well, did it?
Maybe talent freedom was a mistake. With just one controversy, Vishojo had gone from hopeful contender to yet another talent agency that could never compete with the professionalism of Japan. But hey, while this would definitely be damaging to their reputation and be brought up multiple times by haters in the future, the internet has very short-term memory. Give it 1 or 2 weeks, and even the most major dramas get forgotten. And so after 2021 had ended, Vishojo had somewhat been able to put itself back on the map in a very strong way. During 2022, Iron Mouse, a VTuber under Vishojo, would grow so quickly that even the mainstream outside of the VTubing community was made aware of her existence. On February 5th, 2022, she would hold her first ever subathon, streaming for 30 days straight.
I think I was watching
over
this.
171,000 Twitch subscribers.
I'm pretty sure I watched this,
That equates to over $850,000 before Twitch takes their cut.
Damn.
Articles like this were being written about her, saying
Iron
that she was
Mouse.
breaking all kinds of Twitch records. By that point, you'd see people who didn't even know what VTubing was hearing about Iron Mouse's success. And if you didn't, well, Vishojo made it a goal to make you hear about her and every other talent in the roster, enlisting
even on
Crunchyroll to interview every single one of them while having them talk about their favorite animes of all time. But that's not all. When it came to VTuber-related awards, the Vishojo girls were dominating, with the Streaming Awards having 5 nominees.
Shout out to the one other VTuber, Code Miko, who isn't a VShojo girl.
And 4 of them being from Vishojo. That's not all though, because the Streamer Awards would have 4 nominees, and 3 of them would end up being from Vishojo. They wouldn't win that year, but it was still very notable.
Oh, did Code Miko win?
Regardless, the efforts of these talents, including Iron Mouse's very successful subathon, the Vishojo girls being nominated practically everywhere, and Vishojo's efforts to make marketing a priority, ended up being somewhat of a success, because the CEO was able to raise over $11 million for the company. More specifically, during seed funding led by Athos Capital with participation from GFR Funds and Green Bay Ventures. Yes, Vishojo, a VTuber talent agency, had somehow secured an 8-figure funding round from Venture Capital, infamously known for wanting to get their money back no matter what, and also only known to invest in companies with long-term growth potential. They didn't just invest in anything, which made many believe, well, shit. Vishojo must be doing something right compared to other agencies because, wow, that's very impressive.
I still kind of fail to believe that a company as big as VShojo couldn't raise $11 million, right? It sounds like a lot of money, yes, and I do think that it is an insane amount of money. I'm not saying that. I just don't know how a company that had, like, Zentrea, who has been named the most watched female on Twitch recently, Iron Mouse broke records, Melody, all these people, right? I don't have to go through these names again. I've gone through these names before. You know all these girls. Everybody knows these girls, and somehow they weren't able to make 11 million back. I just don't believe
this
it.
Announcement showed huge confidence, saying VTubers are the future of the content creator industry.
That's true, yeah.
Adding, since the medium is built upon animated personas, it is more accessible and scalable than being a traditional creator, especially as the technology becomes more widespread. With the funding from Anthos Capital, we are now in a better position to support and grow talent in this market with more innovative technology, extensive promotion, and the ability to assist with content creation and
huge booba.
So this money was going to go towards specifically growing their existing talent roster. Pretty much any VTuber's dream at the time. And speaking of VTubers, a few months after raising $11 million, Vishojo would add 2 more...
I actually wore this shirt yesterday, the VTuber Next shirt, with with oh god, what's her name? What's her name here? Rushia. Oh god, I don't remember her name in this form. And then
talents to its
Keisan, the
roster,
boss.
marking their first major
Oh,
expansion
it's literally right here, Nazuna.
since recruiting Vebe in
It's right in
2021,
front of me. I
adding
couldn't
both
read it.
Keisan
I was looking
and
down at
Amelie
I was looking
to
down
their
at
roster.
Nazuna.
And what made these talents special is that they were based in
bam,
Japan
bam.
and spoke Japanese most of the time on their streams, showing us that Vishojo wasn't just interested in English speakers, they were interested in this talent-first approach globally. With Gunrun saying that this expansion will break down barriers in VTubing, and it kinda did. On her first stream after joining Vishojo, Amami Onazuna would get over 30,000 concurrent viewers on her Twitch stream,
Damn.
while Keisan would also receive just as many, if not a bit more, with her YouTube debut being at almost
YouTube,
a
baby.
million views today. At the same time,
I'm
Vishojo
more of a
wasn't lying.
YouTuber
They were truly
now
putting
than
those
Twitch
$11 million
streamer.
to use, putting their existing talent at the center of some very cool projects,
Oh,
be it
that's
animated
really
music
cool.
videos or just straight up general marketing. By the end of 2022, Vishojo was yet again seen
That's
as an
such a cute
agency
art
that
picture.
could someday compete
I love this art
directly
picture.
with Hololive and Nijisanji if they weren't already. Yeah,
Hmm.
sure, they've been through a very big controversy with Nux that put everything into question, but whatever, that's behind us. They got 2 more talents,
Yeah.
raised over $11 million,
Natasha
and were doing some
Nyanners.
amazing things that made everyone else envious. Things could only get better from here, right? Well,
Well,
you know how it goes. Good times don't last forever.
Maybe.
And very shortly after 2023 had begun, Vishojo would find itself in such an unpleasant situation that to
Bum,
many,
bum,
it
bum,
seemed
bum.
like this was going to be their biggest existential threat yet.
people leaving.
Harry Potter is a series of books that needs no introduction. It's critically acclaimed across the world. The same can be said about the movies that were based on those same books.
God.
This, of course, resulted
Bro,
in
you just can't explain the level of how big what's it called, Harry Potter was and still is to this day, dude. Harry Potter, as the movies were coming out, was like something different, bro. It was something special, and it was all about silly wizards, chat. That's all it is. That's all it ever was. That's all it ever needed to be.
having a very large and extremely passionate fan base all across the globe. The person behind these books is none other than J.K. Rowling, and for most of her career, she was loved by pretty much anyone who loved Harry Potter. Her
True.
humble background, as well as her authenticity, truly made it hard to dislike her. But then one day, just like many other celebrities, she decided to take the decision of splitting her audience in half by becoming political. You see, in 2011, the
Never, bro. Never, and I mean never be political if you don't want to split your audience like that, dude. I have never had a political opinion in my life, and I never will.
Syrian population
Except unless it's, the Phasaelias versus the Montellis, in which case I ain't going with no dirty Montelli. Phasaelias for life, baby. Let's go.
would revolt against its current regime. The result would be a civil war that would last for over a decade, destroying huge chunks of the country and spreading Syrian refugees all across the world. It
Right.
would be dubbed the Syrian refugee crisis. And at a certain point, political voices in Europe specifically would start expressing that the infrastructure of their countries could barely support their current population, that they were not
Right.
fit to take in so many millions of refugees, trying their best to stop them. J.K. Rowling would see this and would take the decision to use her platform to show solidarity with every single refugee coming to her country, tweeting, "If you can't imagine yourself in one of those boats," the boats the refugees were using,
Right.
"you have something missing. They are dying for a life worth living. Hashtag refugees welcome." Half her audience found her to be hypocritical, saying things like, "Well, if you want refugees, then why don't you take any in your massive mansion?" And the other half was fully in support, praising her and really admiring the fact that she would use her platform for such a humanitarian cause. 5 years later, though, J.K. Rowling would take on a stance that wouldn't just split her audience in half, it would more accurately shatter them into 1,000 pieces. She would criticize an article for using the term people who menstruate, saying, "I'm sure there used to be a word for those people. Someone help me out. Wumben, wimpend, wumid," implying that there's a word for this. It's called women, and that people who
To be fair, that is kind of a funny tweet.
menstruate is a silly term. People, specifically the audience that had supported her so staunchly during her 2015
What was the other one? Was it birthing people or something like that?
moral stance, were outraged. But J.K. Rowling doubled down, tripled down, quadrupled down. Honestly, she
wow.
went all the way to the moon, saying things like, "If sex isn't
Wow.
real, there's no same-sex attraction. If sex isn't real, the lived reality of women globally is erased. I know and love trans people, but erasing the concept of sex removes the ability of many to meaningfully discuss their lives. It isn't hate to speak the truth." Over the years, she wouldn't let this topic go, and this would
Timeline
result in her
and- oh,
creating a
jeez.
substantial amount of haters that used to be her ex-fans, ones that were particularly very loud on the internet.
Mhm.
So on September 16th, 2020, when Hogwarts Legacy, a game developed by Warner Brothers, was announced, Harry Potter fans all around the world were
This game looks
extremely
beautiful, by
excited
the way.
because
This game looks
actually
really
looked
good.
It wasn't one of those crap movie games that
Yeah.
looked like they were done on a budget over a year. You'd
I don't know why they always did that, by the way. I mean, I know why, marketing, right? But like, every time people released games from a movie, it was always ass. So I feel like if they made a Hogwarts game based on the movie, it still would have been pretty dog. I haven't played it. I haven't tried it yet, but I'm down to play it. I wouldn't mind playing it. This shit with Silvervale is so stupid. I am still it boils my blood what happened to Silvervale and the later Henya the Jimbis. Because she was Pikami at the time. Oh god, Chad, I would have stood with Silvervale and Pikami. I don't care. I would have bought this game on release day because of how fucking stupid people are and how they treat her. I'd have been pissed. I would have been canceled too. Evil wizard game,
Actually,
bro.
you
I
would
would have been
explore
canceled.
Hogwarts here and
100%.
actually
I would have
become a
been
wizard,
canceled.
just like in the movies and the books. But when the game was heading towards its release
It's
on
fun.
February 10th, 2023,
It looks fun, dude.
those
I
JK
love the whole like being able to do your own thing. It looks. I seen a few edits of it. Like it looked really really cool.
Rowling haters had another idea. This post on Gaming Circle Jerk would be one of many,
look at
saying,
that.
a friendly reminder from your mod team that this woman is a TERF and anyone who pledges to support her monetarily is also a transphobe. TERF being an acronym meaning trans
Yeah, I mean, I like turf. I've played on like regular grass fields, but like turf feels better. The only thing that sucks is like the turf burn. Chad, have you ever had turf burn? That shit sucks. Like when the little black balls really like cut your skin. Ugh. That's why I'm glad I played like football on turf. I didn't really play like soccer on turf, dude. Oh, woo, baby. Anyways, let's keep this. Anyways, I think that bit's done. Go ahead.
exclusionary radical feminist, a term that J.K. Rowling had used openly in order to describe her beliefs. This post was made by a mod of the Gaming Circle.
One more. I'm trying to get my. Okay, is LGBT? I think that's wild. Whoa, God, what was the last one I was gonna say? Yeah, turf is I don't know if it's worth investing in turf in your UMA. I kind of do it sometimes, but I don't really know.
Jerk subreddit and drew over 4,000 comments. This wasn't the only subreddit or community that echoed these statements. And so when the game came out and actually had an astounding success, those people boycotting the game shifted their attention to the
500,000
people who bought
players.
it. More specifically, people who were making content about it, helping spread the word about how good of a game it was. This is when the Hogwarts Legacy harassment campaign would begin. And you had people like this individual make an entire website where you could put the username of a streamer and it would tell you if they played
just Steam
that
too.
wizard
Yeah.
game. This was taken to
It
the
was on
absolute
a-
extreme.
it was
And
on,
here's
like,
just one
PlayStation
example.
2 as well.
The channel Girlfriend Reviews features a couple playing games, and the chat was harassing them so much throughout their playthrough that the girlfriend in question started crying and ended the stream.
Aw,
Bear in
that's
mind, this was a
stupid,
streamer who
bro.
had a donation link to a charity that helped the LGBT directly. But these fanatics made no differentiation. And one of the people who had suffered the most from harassment and other disgusting
I'm not gonna
things
be able to
in
get through this
relation
without getting
to her
pissed.
playing the game
Okay,
was none
okay,
other
okay,
than
okay,
the
okay.
shoujo talent
Lock in.
Silverveil, being absolutely harassed
Okay,
to
yep.
tears just for having played the game. Here's a clip of that in which he describes what she's
Don't
been
play
going
the
through
clip.
just
Don't
for
do
having
that.
launched
Don't.
that game on stream. Watch.
And harassment and doxing and people doxing my friends and like so much horrible, vile things, all from streaming a fucking video game.
So this wasn't just harassment. This was
Oh, woo! Okay, we're good. We're fine.
doxing, attempts to dox her personal information, successful attempts to maybe dox her friends. I don't want to imagine the things she was receiving in DMs, for example. And this isn't just some crying,
Poor
this is
Silverveil.
intense crying, like she's been going through it. Of course, some of the amazing individuals who are behind this movement would see this clip on Twitter and would have some very productive things to say. Like, this is a volcano lava hot take, but this action should be encouraged. Or boohoo plus cry louder plus maybe listen to trans and Jewish people. But what was really interesting
That was a Genshin profile picture too.
or Boo
CEO of Columbina. I don't want you here anymore. Genshin is my game. I don't want you here anymore. You've been excommunicado. I don't want to see you come anywhere near Genshin Impact again. You're done. Pack your shit and get out of my office.
plus Cry Louder plus maybe listen to trans and Jewish people. But what was really interesting here was the approach that both Vishoujo and some of its talents took when Silvervale was
My blood is legitimately boiling. I'm actually so upset right now. Oh my god, I gotta punch something. Go ahead.
practically at one of the lowest points of her
Woo!
content creation career. One of the only people who would speak
I'm
out in
bogus.
support of Silvervale was actually Iron Mouse,
Mousy.
saying nobody deserves to feel threatened and live in fear every day of their
I
life. That
live
is
Mousy.
not right. Specifying that there are ways to support the LGBTQ plus in positive ways, while hoping that people become a little kinder to each other. But here's where things get very tricky. Around the time
Half of the
this
people aren't
harassment campaign
even
was taking
trans,
place,
virtue
Fruit,
signaling.
who is
Of
another
course they're virtue signaling, bitch you signaling, whatever you want to call it. Bro, of course they are. None of these people care. Why would they ever care? They're just a lot of people who want to virtue signal on Twitter to get their followers up just because they're not, you know, they're not interesting enough on their own because they're a bunch of pieces of shit who aren't even, like, worth anyone's time. Of course they're virtue signaling, bro. What else would they be doing? Oh my god, bro. There are a bunch of people who get, like, who try to, you know, order DoorDash, and when they order DoorDash, they can't go to the door when the people are there because they're scared of human interaction because they're a bunch of fucking losers.
Shoujo talent would tweet, "It costs me $0 every day to be kind and accept people for who they are. So for every like this tweet gets, I'm donating $1 to Mermaids, a charity that supports gender diverse children." Seeing that no one except for Iron Mouse had said anything about Silvervale being harassed, and this was the closest thing that Fruit had said about this situation, people immediately assumed that this was Fruit subtweeting Silvervale, giving her sort of a middle finger, so to speak. Now, of course, Fruit would quote tweet this tweet 12 hours later and specify, "My twin brother means the world to me more than anyone."
I don't like Fruit, sorry. I have never openly said this. I have, of course, because, like, I supported V Shoujo and I supported the girls more than anything. But I after this, I didn't watch Fruit anymore. I didn't watch her. I mean, obviously, I had to get merch with her on it because I wanted to get Giga merch and, like, Henya and Iron Mouse merch. So my V Shoujo shirt has to come with her. I didn't watch her. I didn't follow her when her doc came out. I didn't care. I just didn't care. I was over it, bro. I didn't care after this. Because, bro, how are you going to be crew and you can't even support your fellow member, bro? You might as well leave. Like, if you ain't going to stand by each other under what do you call it, in an agency, what are you there for? That's so dumb, bro. You ain't crew. You ain't boys. You ain't down for each other. God, bro, I hate disloyalty.
Means a lot to me to support and protect people like him.
In her doc, she says that she was in an abusive relationship, to excuse her cheating. I'm like, huh? Yeah, whatever. I don't care about that
Any way I
situation.
can.
It's her
If there's a better
business.
transgender supporting
That's her business. That's her whatever. Has
charity
nothing to
to
do with me.
donate to, I can just switch. It's not that deep. So yeah, Fruit probably saw everything going on surrounding Hogwarts Legacy and decided, you know what, instead of hate, let's just donate. Let's just use money to donate to this cause. But of course, by that time, it was too late. People had already made up their mind about this tweet, and it made many assume, oh, wait a second, is there trouble at home at Vishoujo? Are the talents not all friends? What else are they hiding from us? And what didn't help at all is that during this time period, Vishoujo had said nothing. They were in complete and utter radio silence. They had not come out in support of Silvervale. They had not commented on Fruit's tweet. And it made people start questioning, why is Silvervale even in an agency? Because right now it's as if she's an indie VTuber being harassed all alone and not having the support of anyone, including her own agency. Because in the end, she was a Vishoujo talent. And her being harassed like this was ruining her reputation in some way, which also in turn ruined Vishoujo's reputation and the talents within it. In fact, regarding Silvervale, the only thing we'd hear would only be a couple months later in a shock announcement that no one was expecting. It would be Vishoujo posting this on April 26, 2023, saying,
Oh yeah, this was huge. I remember
and
this.
They have chosen not to renew their contracts at Vishoujo. We respect their decision. And
I
want to
remember
thank
this
them for
was-
helping make Vishoujo what it is today. They will
I
also
can't remember if this was around. This is really silly, but this is the reason why I remember when this was because this is around the time that they had the Smite collaboration, and I made sure I got a Silver and Vase. I think it's
Retain
Silver
their
Vase. I think Silver Vase and Yannis were in it, and I got them. I got all three
so
of
they
them.
could continue as the creators you love. We wish them the best on the next leg of their journey.
I know Silver
Sincerely,
was in
the
it because I got
Vishojo team.
hers
So
specifically.
look, by 2023,
Iron
when it came
Mouse
to
Smite, let's
graduations,
go.
people were used to how Nijisanji and Hololive did.
I know
which
it's Silver
was
and
one at a
and Mousy
time,
because I got them both.
spaced out with a graduation stream in which talents say goodbye. This was an absolute shock on every level. Not to mention that a founding member and the first external member to have joined the company were both leaving. And as soon as this announcement had come out, they would quote tweet it with this image of her in Silvervale saying,
bitches.
"Indie bitches." Naturally,
I
seeing
remember
how
that.
rare a double graduation was and seeing this quote tweet made many people question what was going on and come up with conspiracy theories. So hours later, Vey would clarify, since this post got so much traction and people are speculating as to why I have left and blaming other talent for it, it's nothing like that at all. I left because new contracts didn't make any financial sense to me. So you
That makes
see, again,
sense.
there was this rumor that the talent at Vishojo was not in agreement.
I love their
that
picture.
The girls
This picture
were
is
fighting,
great.
especially with the conspiracy theories running rampant over Fruit's tweet in regards to Silvervale. Vey would continue, I can't speak for Silver because we didn't leave together. We were just announced on the same day. Can't say much else because of legal shit and stuff, but please be kind to everyone involved. Don't make weird rumors up to control your own narrative. TLDR, left because new contract, no good. And for all indies, always hire a lawyer
No
to go
bueno.
through any contract, however minor it may seem. I know it's a scary process to think about, but you'll be so fucking thankful down the line. Hire lawyers that know what the industry standards are. Okay, have a nice day, you fuckers. So this was her attempt to
I love
completely
Vey's
kill
attitude.
any speculation or conspiracy theories surrounding her graduation. She just
This is such a throwaway line right here. Hire a lawyer. Like, without the actual situation happening, this feels like a throwaway line. Like, no, who would have thought when she said this, what would have came out, right? And I, especially now looking back at it, it's like, yeah, obviously you should hire a lawyer, but it's like, you don't really know. We never really knew how bad this was, and you got to remember the reputation that V Shoujo had at the time was they were talent first. So something like this would be like, oh, it's probably, probably something she just said.
to move on as soon as possible. Silvervale would echo the same exact statement on her stream, saying this, watch.
I missed the announcement.
That picture,
Vey
or
and I
the-
are both leaving.
the
We were
mics.
announced the same day, but it has nothing to do with each other. It was independent. We are just being announced on the exact same day.
So this whole thing was kind of messy.
fun.
Why announce two talents
For
at the
me.
same time and have to make them both make separate statements saying, guys, it just so happens that we both wanted to leave the company and they announced us on the same day. It was definitely a shock, but hey, at least Vishojo kept their word. They would be keeping their IP. This wasn't a graduation in the traditional sense because nothing
Pretty
would be
good.
changing.
Very
they would
pog.
continue streaming just like they did before joining Vishojo.
Very
and so as
pog.
soon as people were starting to finally process this news
Pog you
and
even.
maybe even start to move on, just a few days later, Vishojo would come up with another bombshell saying, to our community,
Wow.
we'd like to inform you that Nyanners has decided not to renew her contract with Vishojo. We fully support her decision and are grateful for her contributions to the growth of Vishojo. Nyanners will retain her IP, ensuring she can carry on as the beloved creator you know. We wish her the best in her future endeavors. Sincerely, the Vishojo team. This was another complete shock. Okay, listen.
Paul
one
Heyman
founding
meme.
member, the first member to join, and another founding member in the span of 1 week? Nyanners would release her own statement saying, after much consideration, I've decided not to renew my contract with Vishojo and return to being an indie. This decision is my own and not a reflection of my relationship with any of the other members, and it is something I have been seriously deliberating for a while. I'm deeply appreciative of all the opportunities
Notice how she never mentioned the staff.
that being a member of Vishojo has presented over the past 2 years and wish everyone, staff and fellow talent alike, all the best. While this change likely
Is
comes
it?
as a surprise,
Yeah,
it won't
good
change
time.
who I am, any of my content, or who I choose to collaborate with moving forward. My streams will continue as usual. I'm looking forward to seeing what the future will bring in this new chapter. Thank you all for your support and understanding. Nyanners. So again, dispelling the rumor that no, this is not
Nyanners.
because other talent in the agency is pissing me off or is being toxic. This is my own decision and I'm leaving with no drama. I just want to put this behind me. But how can we just put this behind us and move on so easily when so many members had left in just the span of a few days?
Wow.
Vishojo had 10 members by this point, and they had essentially lost 30% of their talent roster just like that.
Well,
if
to
the
be
talents
fair,
were
it's gonna get
truly
worse.
healthy, then that wouldn't have happened. So what the hell was going on? More importantly, though, was anyone else going to leave as well?
Yes.
And that's when people
It was
understood there was a
Nazuna.
risk that Iron Mouse could leave. And if she did,
Oh.
this talent agency would have, without exaggeration, imploded in just a few months afterwards. So people were obviously concerned. They loved Vishojo, they loved the talent there, they didn't want to see it implode. So many were asking Iron Mouse, hey, like, are you gonna stay? Are you gonna leave? To which she responded. This is a clip that was in False ID's video from over 2 years ago, in which she says that she's currently negotiating. Watch.
Have to make this very large. Good news or bad news? I don't know. I don't know if it's good news or bad news.
Mm-hmm.
Leaving the shoujo, guys, I'm still in contract negotiations.
So this definitely
sure
didn't
this ended
reassure
well,
her
right?
audience or anyone who's a
Surely.
fan of Vishoujo. Iron Mouse
Surely
was in
nothing
contract
happened
negotiations.
that
Three
went
talents
wrong
had
in this
just left.
contract
If
negotiation.
she leaves too, we can safely say the agency's not really going anywhere. So without
Right.
exaggeration, it was facing an existential threat. And seeing how often people would see VTuber agencies establish
Phase
themselves then
Connect.
literally fall apart within a few months, the same fate awaiting
Prism,
Vishoujo didn't really
Kawaii,
seem that
Cyber.
far-fetched. Except it
They
was.
didn't get-
because
they
shortly
didn't
after
gaslight or
this, in
anything.
the summer
No,
of
no, totally not.
2023,
I think it
Vishoujo
ended
would begin a
perfectly.
new chapter that would thrust it straight into its
All hail the
golden
Fishman.
age, where it finally became a global contender. One could say that Vishoujo started
Henya the
taking their
genius.
first steps towards a golden age barely 10 days after Nyanners had officially left the company. Yes, even though the entire agency's future was being put into question, they managed to
I love
surprise
Henya.
everyone on May 11th, 2023, when they would announce that they'd be adding the first English-speaking VTuber to their roster since Weiwei in 2021. And that VTuber would be Henya the Genius. Someone who already was very beloved and had one hell of a fan base in another corporation and had left it recently, not being able to keep her IP and restarting in Vishoujo. And one of the many things that made her special is that she was both fluent in English and Japanese, which helped her further bridge the gap between Vishoujo and their Japanese subsidiary.
I forgot about
But
this.
the agency
this video.
wasn't done here. Just barely a few months later, they would also recruit yet another new member by the name of Giga, another independent VTuber that was already established and had a fan
You're
base that was going
invited.
to follow her into Vishoujo.
Yeah, I remember this because this is when I first really got the hint that V Shoujo didn't really want new talent, right? They do here's the way that I always explained it. The what's it called? This is how I always explain the V Shoujo audition. Or this is how I've been explaining it, is that V Shoujo isn't really looking. They put these auditions out, and it seems like they're not really looking for new talent. Like if you're someone who tried out for it and you're like sub 500 followers and you're like a 10 viewer Anderson or something, the audition isn't exactly for you. I feel like the auditions are to throw up a flag so they can make sure they get like the big talents to come in, right? They're like seeing all these new and upcoming indies, and they're pretty much ignoring their auditions and hoping that they can catch the big fish because like who joined, right? Or the only way I can explain this as to not being the case, it would be like since they were already big VTubers, they probably already had what it takes. So it's probably like an NFL player going against a peewee. But still, it just seems like they already had someone in mind when they did these auditions.
What made these two talents special is that they weren't problematic at all. If anything, they were wholesome and well liked.
They're in talks with Sayu. There's someone who was huge. There it is. Why would like they're not having some brand new voice actor out of nowhere? No, they're looking for Sayu. It's like, dude, I could have. I seen this a long time ago. I just never said anything about it.
This was Vishoujo heading in the right direction, but it was them
Gokurt.
barely getting started. You see, at the time, one couldn't simply ignore just how
I love
big
Gokurt.
Nijisanji's English branch had gotten. Just like their main competitor,
see.
Hololive, they had a
Who's actually still here? I think Claude's gone. Rosemi's gone, I'm pretty sure. I don't know the rest of them. Luca? Is Luca gone? I don't know who that is.
established some very well-known household names in the VTubing industry. And with
I don't
them
know any of
came
these guys.
very passionate and sometimes rabid fan bases that would do anything to show their love to their idols. In other words, they bought any merch you threw at them. Okay, they were money printers. So when some
Apparently not. Have you seen Nijisanji, Ian?
talent started to all of a sudden start leaving Nijisanji around the end of 2023, Vishoujo would take notice and take full advantage of the situation, announcing the recruitment of a new member very shortly after
Kuro.
Giga. This time, it was Kuro, an ex-Nijisanji VTuber that had a very loyal fan base and had an established identity in the scene. But they were on a roll because barely 2 weeks afterwards, they would announce yet another member joining.
Wow. Surely you had a chance as a brand new VTuber, right? Surely you had a chance.
Matara-kan, also being a very well-established ex-Nijisanji member. These two would have an indescribable positive impact on Vishoujo's PR. Kuro would bring in some much-needed humor and expertise from his days at Nijisanji running a big fan base, and Matara would come in to act like some sort of a maternal figure to the Vishoujo talent roster, balancing the chaotic energy exhibited by the rest of the roster. All this would serve as the building blocks, as the foundation to the most important moment in Vishoujo's history, when they would take complete advantage of the downfall of one of their biggest competitors. On February 2024, we would witness the biggest PR disaster in VTuber history. When Selen Tatsuki, one of Nijisanji's English VTubers, would attempt to leave this planet twice, citing the toxic work culture at Nijisanji as the main reason. And instead of trying to fix or even salvage the situation, Nijisanji decided to terminate her. What would follow would be mass graduations of the English branch of Nijisanji, and their reputation would never get close to
Again, Nijisanji, I'm thinking 3 million. That's probably a good round number. That'll probably get me I'll do 3 million to use I'll use 3 million to use my IP. If you want me to use your IP where you can keep it, I'm thinking more of a 10 million kind of contract. We'll be in touch. I'll fix your company, bro. I could fix your PR immediately. I'll turn this franchise around, but it's gonna cost you.
Covering. Vishoujo would see this and would take this opportunity to devour Nijisanji's massive rotting corpse in order to replace them and claim their spot of top 2 VTuber agency, competing directly with Hololive. On April 2024, they would recruit Michi Mochievi, another very well-beloved and established ex-Nijisanji talent.
Again, you totally had a chance.
Afterwards is the complete and full redemption of Vishoujo's reputation. You see, these ex-Nijisanji talents like Michi would go on to praise how happy they are at Vishoujo in comparison to their previous workplace being Nijisanji, saying that they've never worked at a place like this before, that their past workplace made them feel terrible, and that here they feel valued. They feel like an actual person. We also would hear something very shocking, the fact that Kuro had over 350,000 British pounds in tax debt, because apparently his previous company, Nijisanji, would tell him that they'll handle taxes for him and take a cut from his paycheck.
Okay. That makes a lot more sense. I was going to say, brother, you've never paid your taxes before? I completely get that. No. That completely makes sense. Oh, man, that sucks. I'm sorry to hear that, buddy. Because, dude, there is like a lot. There's a lot of things in this world you can get by. You can skirt by doing a lot of things you shouldn't be doing. The one thing you will never, ever skirt by on this planet, there is nowhere you can go to hide from taxes. Nowhere, bro. There are 3 things inevitable in this world: your birth, your death, and you paying taxes, brother. That is a no-go. I'm sorry to hear that, buddy. Man, that sucks for Kuro, bro. Oh, dude, I hope he's got it paid off and he's handled this. The tax man gonna get you. The tax man will literally pay off the Grim Reaper to let you let you not go for a couple minutes so they can get that money, because they're gonna get that money. Best believe they're gonna get it from you or from your loved ones. They're gonna get that money. So, dude, this is such a bad situation to be in. I hope Kuro got this. I hope he ended up getting this resolved.
Only to end up not paying a single dollar. He was essentially scammed. So he reached out to Iron Mouse for help in order to figure out what was going on, and she referred him to the CEO of Vishoujo, Gunrun, who personally took the time out of his day to help him and put him in touch with an accountant and eventually recruited him into Vishoujo. I mean, guys, at this point, can we just stop calling him Gunrun? Can we call him Gun Angel? Because, I mean, seriously, Vishoujo seemed to be the complete opposite of Nijisanji. Now, this same rhetoric was echoed by Matara in a discussion with Kuro, in which they were reminiscing how their former company mentally affected them and how happy they are at Vishoujo today. I mean, look, by that point, this sentiment was pretty common to find. People felt that Vishojo was the savior of the VTuber industry, the agency correcting Nijisanji's mistakes and treating their talent like actual human beings, with no toxic workplace and no predatory contracts. And seeing that Iron Mouse had extended her contract with them, they had essentially gone from being a company facing an existential threat to being on top of the world, and things were only getting started for their golden age.
Anyways, chat, did you know that Alice is out now at Zelda Zone Zero, where you can get her. Sorry, go ahead.
Iron Mouse would keep beating.
I'm not sponsored by it. I just
records and would get interviewed by the Rolling Stone. Kei-san would audition to be in the game Yakuza Like a Dragon and would successfully manage to get in. Vishojo was opening up art galleries in Japan, showcasing art of their VTubers. And Iron Mouse would successfully become the most subscribed to channel on Twitch of all time, giving away half the money she raised to the Immune Deficiency Foundation, a charity that means a lot to her since she suffers from CVID, a condition that weakens her immune system to the point where she can't even go out. This foundation aims to find a cure, and seeing how much this meant to her, the CEO would personally bring her on a walk for the Immune Deficiency Foundation using one hell of a high-tech setup. I
hate how cute this is and how wholesome this is, because you know how... God damn, bro. And these are points where you wish you didn't know the ending. I want to be happy, and this looks so... Like, look how happy she looks, bro. I wish, bro. I wish we could be happy that this happened.
You can see everything that's happening through this camera. But that's not all. I mean, Gunrun would care so much about his talents that he would personally accompany Iron Mouse when she would win the Best VTuber Award in the Streamer Awards at the end of 2023. And if that wasn't enough to impress you, then maybe their global marketing campaigns would, plastering the faces of all their talents in Japan, more specifically a metro station in Shinjuku.
That's pretty
guys,
cool.
By this point, everyone, whether big or small as a content creator, wanted a piece of Vishojo. The idea of joining such an agency that held their talents to such high regards and would give every talent a manager to handle day-to-day tasks while they would focus on what was important to them simply sounded amazing. It seemed that this talent freedom approach was truly working, and Vishojo knew exactly what they were doing. But hold your horses. I mean, this success does come with a price. Yes, there is such a thing as suffering from success, and Vishojo was about to find that out. Seeing that everyone wanted to join them, many were wondering what had happened to the audition form that was posted back in 2021. Was that simply to recruit an already established independent streamer like Vebe?
Yes. Yes, it is. I don't know why no one ever found that out, dude. It's not for you. It's for the people who are bigger already.
Many would start making a joke that Vishojo was nothing more than a glorified Nijisanji retirement home.
That's what I called it,
or they would just hire friends, that they were a nepotism-centric company. The problem was that this criticism didn't reach the company, it would reach the talents directly, causing someone like Zentreya to reach a breaking point. With her tweeting this out during July 2024, saying, "Heartbreaking and disheartening to see so many people pushing the idea of Zen friends only when each person I found had to work their way to the top regardless. I have other friends who don't want to join who are working their asses off and doing amazing things. I even pushed management to open auditions again finally after so long and to scout for new and upcoming people to mesh with."
I mean, that's fine, right? Like, this is totally fine to say this. I totally get it, and I'm totally of the mindset that I think that she shouldn't be harassed for this or be told or anything like this. I totally get it. I'm 100% on board, but it's like the track record speaks for itself. Like, if you want us not to assume that and not to believe that this is especially just for big VTubers, hire a small one. Hire literally someone off the streets. If you can do that, I'll believe you. It's that simple. I mean, I can't do it now because they're like gone, but like that's what I'm saying, bro. The track record speaks for itself.
I wanted to meet new people and let the others get a sense for them as well and see who would fit into the puzzle. Then I came to a...
I believe that this is true. I believe that her and probably the other girls do want other people. I don't believe management does.
Realization that even if we bring in a new person, people will claim we focused on new people instead of helping others who are halfway to success, or other larger creators be a part of something fun. Either way is a loss. I just wanted to do right and help smaller and up and coming, as well as the potential to bring someone on the rise. Management and Gunrun are working their butts off to do all of this, and now I feel as though I made a mistake in doing this. Who knows? But I hope
this is like if you said, I'm helping all streamers. Cool. someone with like 10 viewers comes up and talks to you, and you're like, no, I didn't mean you. I mean people with like 100 viewers, 500 viewers. Like, dude, obviously people are gonna get mad.
I'll still try because I started from the bottom too and I put in the work. This tweet was made in reference to VShojo finally reopening applications after 3 years on July 10th, 2024, a day before Zentrea's tweet. And putting aside the fact that some talents were literally getting harassed over this was actually a net positive for VShojo. You had droves of undiscovered talented VTubers, established VTubers, big, medium, small VTubers, all wanting to join your agency because goddamn, you guys were doing a great job.
Yeah, surely
this post alone had over
worked
5
out,
million
right?
views, over 1,000 replies, with some very big independent VTubers commenting on it. If you hadn't noticed yet, this is what a golden age looks like. And around 5 months later, Amelie, who is a very well-established voice actor, VTuber, and singer, would make the announcement that she was joining VShojo. This was of course huge for the agency, but at the same time, Amelie noticed that there were some replies that were fairly negative about her joining. Feeling the need to specify, this reveal has been in the works for almost a year and a half. And just to clear up any confusion, I was not a part of the auditions, but I'm so excited for the future debuts of new members. This is simply how badly people were clawing at the chance of joining this agency. She had to actually specify this. But VShojo had made an entire subsidiary in Japan, not just for Keisan and Amamiya Nazuna. They had very big plans for the country in which VTubing originated in. At the end of 2024, they teased 4 different Japanese talents joining their roster, this time under a wave or a team called VShojo Nova. And by the beginning of July 2025, they would unveil it, launch it alongside Universal Music Group. This wasn't just yet another VTuber wave, these were superstars in the making. I mean, at this point, maybe Gunrun saying back in 2020 that VShojo was going to be a new era of VTubing wasn't so far-fetched. Not only were they on top of the world, but now they were considered a direct competitor to Hololive and someone who had very easily outdone Nijisanji. The sky was the limit, and if this company became worth $1 billion in the coming years, no one would have been surprised. But you see, speaking about money, how did they make it exactly? You see, this was a question that would start to be asked as early as 2023. Agencies typically took a cut of sponsors, donations, subs, and merch from talents in order to sustain their business. But VShojo would only do so, as far as we knew, whenever they brought in a sponsor and whenever there was merch on the line, never taking any of the donations or sub money of their talent.
I think that's a mistake. As much as people are not going to like this or this answer, I definitely think that was a mistake. There's no way you were gonna make a company worth this much money and you have to take sub money. I'm sorry, bro. Like, it's an agency, the lights have to be paid. Even like bro, even sponsor agencies take money from sponsorships. Like, you're legitimate. Like, I feel like you should have changed this up in the future and started now asking for sub money. Not a lot, but some, bro. Like, these girls are making probably tens of thousands of dollars a month. Surely they would have missed like $1,000 or something or anything, bro. They couldn't not take sub money, which I know it sounds bad, trust me, but it's like someone has to pay the bills. Like, that's just part of it. There's no not paying bills.
I personally got the chance to speak with someone notable in the content creator industry, and they told me that VShojo for them was a red flag since 2023, truly wondering how this company even functioned and made money. This Redditor right here was also wondering the same thing, and I mean, look at the top comment. It said, "I think there's a running joke about this because I swear I've seen Henya, Keisan, and Giga all commenting, I have no idea how VShojo makes money, insinuating their contracts are really good."
Well,
I'm sure there's a really good explanation, but my headcanon is that Gunrun and VShojo really just enjoy what they do and don't make a ton of money doing it, but live comfortably enough because their hobby is being support for the talents.
Well,
but by that point, VShojo was so well established that people who were asking these questions, who were showing these concerns, were simply called stupid and people moved on. This would of course be the sentiment until the end of their golden age, when cracks in the company would start being very hard to ignore and multiple very shocking announcements would be made. On March 6th, 2025, Matara-kan would tweet this, saying, "Today's the day. Momos, send me your energy."
This is wow, and there's still an hour left. Dude, this just seems we're kind of like running through everything at this point because I feel like Matara-kan announces her departure, then Giga, and then D-Day happens. What happens in the rest of this video?
I need it. She didn't really specify further, but it seemed like it was a very important day for her and she was asking her community to send her good vibes. We wouldn't hear from her again until 2 days later, on March 8th, in which she would tweet out, "Hey everyone, as I said on stream today, I'll be taking an immediate emergency time off. Some things came up that I cannot address right now, but I promise you, you will know soon enough. All is good, I am good, I just need to deal with it all ASAP. I love you, Momos." Now look, at this point people were hoping for the best. It's not the first time a big VTuber took a break like this, but it definitely seemed very sudden, and she definitely was trying very hard to reassure her community that nothing was truly wrong. Except something was wrong, and we would find that out almost a month later. As the Cinder incident was taking over the entirety of the VTubing community, something else would creep up on the side and shock everyone. One day after Cinder had posted her infamous apology, Vishoujo would post this, saying, "Dear community members,
God, this
we
was
want to
such a
share
week,
that
wasn't
after
it,
careful
chat?
thought and
Goodness
consideration,
gracious.
We've made the difficult decision
Actually,
to
this
formally
wasn't that
part ways
bad.
with Matara
When
on May
Matara left, I don't think it was that bad. I think when Matara thing happened, everyone was like, oh, she probably had a breach of contract. That's probably, that's a mistake, but, what can you really do? Because the way this sounded like, it seems like, oh, Matara did something bad with NDAs. I think that's how it was sold, at least. So this is like, man, it happens, but what can you do? So it wasn't a big thing.
5th, 2025. We're genuinely grateful for everything she's brought to Vishoujo and wish her the best moving forward. Goodbyes are never easy, and we understand many of you deeply care about Matara as we do. The best way to support us both right now is with kindness, understanding, and respect for everyone's feelings and privacy during this transition. We're committed to our incredible talent, community, and the values we share. Thank you all for your empathy and continued support." To say that people were absolutely shocked by this is an understatement. As I said, up until that point, Matara was seen as the motherly figure of the entire talent roster. She'd be someone with an opinion that was highly valued in the company, and would, throughout many occasions, sing the praises of Vishoujo. So why the hell was she graduating, and why was it so sudden? Well, here's what she had to say about it. "Vishoujo made the decision to part ways with me on March 6th, effective May 5th. I thank the girls, plus Kuro, for the great times we had together and the wonderful moments we shared in the last 18 months. I wish the remaining talent in Vishoujo the best of luck in their activities. I love them very much and I will carry on being their bug auntie. I will continue streaming as Matara-kan because I am Matara-kan and I hope the Momos can still cheer me on even if I won't be Matara-kan of Vishoujo." So this tweet actually didn't specify much, but it gave us a couple of clues. Vishoujo made the decision to part ways with me on March 6th. The same exact day she said, "Today is the day, Momo, send me your energy, I need it." 2 days before she said, "I'm taking immediate emergency time off." But realistically, we really had no idea what was going on.
Was it because
just
she
seemed like
finally found
Vishoujo
out?
had fired her in
Did
a
she
way.
finally see
And
her
as
thing of
people
money?
were barely recovering from what had happened with Cinder and what was now going on in Vishoujo, 2 weeks later, another bombshell announcement would drop. Mountain Dew, one of the co-founders of Vishoujo, would say, "After 5 years, I am leaving Vishoujo. For the past 5 years, Vishoujo has been an integral part of my life and journey. Since its inception, I have had the honor and the privilege of working with some of the most hardworking and intelligent team members and have made many friends throughout the
Where
VTubing
are
and
you
streaming
going,
community.
brother?
I will always cherish the time we spent together. I take
You
great
not
pride in my
going
contributions to the growth of the
nowhere.
Vishoujo brand, helping
Come
shape
here,
what it is
brother.
today through my involvement in most of the forward-facing, large-scale media and the behind-the-scenes growth operations within the company. As of today, I am formally stepping down from my position as Chief Marketing Officer and departing the company to explore new creative endeavors. While this was a difficult decision, I believe it is the right time for me to embark on a new chapter of creative fulfillment in my life. Thank you all for the wonderful memories. See you soon, Mountain Dew." As far as we were concerned, this was a legend in the industry, flexing what they had done in Vishoujo and saying goodbye in order to do bigger and better things.
Right, that makes
Overall,
sense.
though, this post definitely felt sudden. Why now, of all times? Why 2 weeks after Matara had left? What was
I don't
going on at
even
the
know.
company? We wouldn't get an answer. Instead, a month later, we would get yet another announcement from Vishoujo
No, not
announcing that
Gogurt.
Giga will be
Not
parting
my
ways with
Gogurt.
the company. On the same day this announcement would be posted, she would specify in a tweet saying,
No,
"As of
Gogurt,
June
come back.
27th, I am
I
terminating my
love you,
contract with
Gogurt.
Vishoujo and will be an independent creator once again. This decision took a long time to come to terms with, but is definitely the best choice for my future. I love my members in Vishoujo more than I could ever say, and I will always be their friend and support. There is no world where I want to be without them both as a creator and as a person,
Right.
and that is something that doesn't require a contract with an agency to still hold true. I'm wishing all the remaining girls and our dog," which is Kuro, "success, always. I'd especially like to thank my manager at Vishojo, Kenzo, for always doing his absolute best for me and making the most of our time working together. Love you lots. As far as my streaming goes, nothing will change from this, as in indie I handled pretty much everything myself and can easily do so again. Nothing changed when I joined, nothing's changing as I leave. I do have a lot of cool projects coming up very soon, so I'd appreciate everybody's support. I'll see you on stream soon.
This is why I didn't have... Even now, this wasn't raising any red flags, right? Because you have Matara Khan, who we assume this was because of an NDA breach and stuff like that. Obviously, you can't break NDAs. They might have... They, like... contractually they're like contractually obligated to let you go, right? You breach a contract, you have to get let go. That's totally fine. With Giga, I still didn't see the red flags because in my mind Giga just had so when she makes her videos, right? I watch her videos. She just has so much knowledge and information. It almost feels like it was kind of weird that she was in an agency, right? I feel like she could have ran her career on her own and it would have been fine. Maybe she could have hired her own team. And so when she went indie, I felt like Giga, I felt like it still had made sense, right? Still no red flags. Maybe that's kind of weird, but not too bad just yet.
And she did stream,
Humble
only
brag,
to give
dude.
a very surface level explanation
I brag for my short queen.
as to why she had
I love
left,
her.
citing disagreements with management,
Tiny ball of
working
evil.
on some projects that would never see the light of day, things like that. And again, as people were barely processing the idea that so many talents had been leaving so quickly from Vishojo, 2 days later,
Oh, no.
on June 27th, 2025, Vishojo would announce that Zentreya,
This one, now we're getting somewhere. Now now the sirens are blaring. What the hell is happening?
a founding member of
This is
Vishojo,
when
and someone
everything
who
went
was,
wrong.
At this point, representing the brand itself, was leaving the company. People were wondering why. Why now? Why you? Someone who has championed Vishojo as a company and who seemed like they were never
Zen
going
was
to
a
leave. And here's what she had to
shoujo
say. On July 11th, I will be leaving Vishojo for new opportunities and a new adventure. My time here was long, and I had many fun moments. It will feel like the end of the world, but know that I will always be here for all of you. Nothing will change other than where
I
am
didn't see
currently
this one at all.
Thank you to
This one
Vishojo for
coming.
many years and the memories. Sadly, times change and paths change, and I decided I wanted to follow my own path and do new things in life. I hope you all will continue to follow me on this adventure. I know change is scary. It's a scary thing to see something you saw grow change, but that is how life goes. We all take this walk eventually, so let's go on this adventure together. Thank you for all your continued support, and even if this is where your stop is, then thank you regardless, and best wishes to Vishojo. She would then specify further on the stream that she was doing this for more opportunities and for personal reasons. She, much like the other talents that had left Vishojo so far, didn't want any drama or speculation. And just like that, in the span of like a couple of months, 3 talents, including one founding member, had left Vishojo.
Damn.
And let's not forget that they were joined by the chief marketing officer, Mountain Dew. This wouldn't be the first time Vishojo would go through this. We saw this ourselves. But this time felt very different, especially because
Yeah,
after a couple
this
of
one
weeks,
is
even
weird.
Panini had left the company after 3 years. This was the director of talent of Vishojo.
Oh, this
So
one
you
I
weren't
didn't
just
hear
getting
about.
talents
Wait,
leaving,
even
you were
this
also
one I
getting
didn't
some
know
pretty
about.
integral people running the
When did this
company
happen?
leaving as
This
well.
happened
What was
on
going
July.
on here? But of course, as you might have guessed, we weren't done here just yet. 7
I
days
didn't know
later,
that.
Iron Mouse would tweet out, "I'm so sorry for not streaming as much these past 2 weeks. I have been going through a lot, but I hope to get back to streaming soon." People just
Oh,
assumed
this is probably when like the finances were finally revealed to the girls, huh?
she was tired, dealing with some symptoms of a sickness, or just overall needed a mental health break. But everyone couldn't have been more wrong in this regard. Getting slapped across the face sideways only 3 days later, when Iron Mouse wouldn't tweet out anything, but instead would release a YouTube video titled, "Why I Left Vishojo." And all you really need to understand the gravity of the situation is listening to the first 30 seconds. Watch.
I am leaving Vishojo.
D-Day. The day it all went downhill.
Unfortunately, I recently found
Actually, I
out
don't want to say the day it all went downhill. I think Zentreya leaving was the day that everyone knew it started going downhill, right? It initially started with, God, it started way back with Neander's Vey and Silver, but like this is the beginning of the actual end, right? They've been on borrowed time this entire time, and this is when their time ran out.
that for the past couple of months, I have been misled by Vishojo With the information
bro.
that I currently have, I believe that I am owed a significant amount of funds.
I just wonder how much significant is, right? Obviously, she can't tell us because they're in works with lawyers, and this is a whole legal process, of course. You know, we all know that. Unfortunately, the legal process has to be upheld, and because of that, things can't be said. Totally get it. It's totally fine. But damn, man, I really want to know how much she's owed. I want to
Which
know.
I
I
have
just
not
got to
been
know a
paid.
figure, bro.
And most importantly, the thing that hurts me the most is that the
At
Immune Deficiency
minimum, they owe her like $5. That's the
Foundation,
minimum.
which
That's
is
not
the
that's
most
the minimum.
important charity to me, and also the reason why I'm here today.
If Neanders was 6 figures, oh fuck. Damn.
Is owed over $500,000 from Vishojo.
So not only was she not getting paid by her agency, but they were withholding $500,000 from her that was meant to go directly to charity. She had trusted them to make
put
the
the
payment
Zenless
on
on
her
Zero
behalf,
music back on.
and they didn't.
Bum,
That's
bum.
something a supervillain would do. In the rest of the video, she would go on to introduce herself again to anyone new that was watching, describing to them just how important the Immune
Is this the TV music? No, this is battle music.
Deficiency Foundation is to
This
her.
is like
how they
early on
saved her
battle
life,
music.
and how she started streaming due to her condition in the hopes of simply finding friends,
Starlight!
never thinking she'd grow this
Starbright!
big. She also reveals that she's speaking to an attorney at the moment. She can't really reveal everything just yet, but what she can say is that around the time she was renewing her contract, when she was having second thoughts, Gunman would push this idea on her that the company needed her to succeed. That if she were to leave, Vishojo would fall apart. Now, yes, to an extent, that is actually true,
She's absolutely
especially after
right.
Nyanner
He's 100% right, by the way. It's messed up to say, and they put that evil on her, Ricky Bobby, but like, he's not wrong.
Silvervale and Vey had left at the same time.
He's
But
wrong
this
for doing
resulted
it.
in
He's
her
not wrong.
ironically feeling
He's not
trapped
wrong
in
in
an
that
agency
statement.
that claimed talent freedom. She wouldn't be able to leave because she felt responsible for both the company and the talents that she loved very much in it. It was simply tragic. And then she would specify that she wasn't giving up. She would start a new fundraiser on Tiltify, and the cool thing about Tiltify is that they receive the money, the creator doesn't touch a single dollar, and they then send the money to that charity
Ooh.
on their own. Within just a few hours, Iron Mouse had raised tens of thousands of dollars, absolutely eclipsing her initial $10,000 goal, with the entire VTuber community backing her up and encouraging everyone to donate.
Nice.
Soon this news would spread like wildfire. Iron Mouse, one of the biggest streamers on the planet, was scammed $500,000 from her agency that was meant to go to charity. The Pandora's box was officially opened. Vishojo was fair game. And when it comes to internet drama like this, once it rains, it fucking pours, baby.
Dude, it didn't
and
pour,
now you
it
had many
tsunami'd.
people come out with their grievances that they had with the company. Like
This is such a small thing, but like, I want to say this. There were artists who were like, if you have money, you know, they gave this money to this charity, blah blah blah, but they won't pay artists because $10 seems too much for artists. Shut up, bro. Shut up. Have you ever thought of that? I need you to genuinely think about that. Just genuinely think. Shut up, bro.
this music composer here saying nowhere near what Mouse is going through, but for the past year, Vishojo has been habitually late in paying me commissions, sometimes leaving thousands of dollars of my
damn.
invoices unpaid for months at a time. I tried to be patient, but knowing they were stealing charity money from Mousy while this was all happening makes me sick to my stomach. Another music artist would quote tweet this and say, I have
Cheryl Beats.
thousands of dollars of unpaid work from them too. Had to chase people down just to make sure my friends got paid. They even hire someone to help with music stuff, but I ended up managing everything while they got paid from
Bro,
them.
never send anything in without getting your full paycheck, bro. Like, that's so bad. I've had this happen before as well because I used to open up my own personal studio, which is just, you know, my room with a microphone. I have had to chase people down for money after, and I've only made this mistake once, is where I recorded their music. I did everything for them. I recorded their music. I made videos for them, and I even took them to like agency audition, and I was never paid for that. I took his watch. Not in that kind of way, in a way where he left it at my house and I kept it. He never paid me back. I got paid back eventually. I kept his watch eventually.
Work.
I took his wife. No, it was back in This was back in high school.
This had gotten to a point where it was so ridiculous that Iron Mouse had to make a statement saying any artists/musicians that worked with me through Vishojo and never
That
got
sucks.
paid, please
Dude, it was awful. It was a really nice. It was a really cool watch. It was like a G-Shock. I took that shit was mine, brother. What's up, Alexis? How are you? Oh my, how are you?
So I can get you paid. I'm so sorry.
It sucks too, bro, because people would do that. That's why from now on, that's why from then on, I just never gave people their finish. Like he even came back to me again to try to get more recording out of me, and I told him, all right, I'll do this for you, but you will not see this finished product until you pay me. And I think he only asked for me. He only asked he only got one more session out of me, and then he just like completely stopped. And I was never gonna do that again.
It turned out that the financial problems of Vishojo weren't just related to talents; they were related
I'm doing
to
good. I'm glad to hear that.
everything. Around that same time, Zentreya would also tweet this out, saying, in all seriousness, I know Vishojo had times where they would take forever to process a payment out to artists when they worked with me if the payment was through Vishojo and not me. I just want to make sure that if you were one, you were paid. Contact me on what project, I'm so sorry. Very shortly after Iron Mouse had released her video, both Kuro and Michi would take Vishojo out of their names on Twitter. As this was all happening, a well-known Japanese media personality would tweet this out, and it would
I totally don't know who this is. I wonder what kind of I wonder what kind of content they do. You think it's cooking or something? Anyways, go ahead.
end up being a bombshell, saying this person moved from a VTuber company to another as a staff last year, bragging about his new income. He thrusted me a few of his new business cards to give to my
She
good
works for CDawg
contacts.
VA.
I found the action obnoxiously rude, but maybe he was too.
She sure does. That's how I know her. Hey, me too, chat. Yep. Me too.
Young and friendly to know better. Then the motherfucker wanted to meet up for tax advice because I'm a native in Japan and I hire an accountant. I was asked to have dinner in his area, which was quite far for me, splitting the bill. That day I got convinced I didn't like the guy. Yet because I loved the talents he worked with, I was only secretly hoping he would lose his job one day. Recently, I heard from another creator that he was showing photos of VTubers' real selves while revealing their personal info like marital status. I now wanted to find a way to warn other employees. Today I've learned the most despicable shit the company has done to their talent. Don't know if he's involved with it, yet all my personal grudge is nothing compared to such betrayal. Sometimes, unfortunately, managers or agencies can be the talent's worst enemy. Please always support the talent first. So here Shibuya Kaho was pretty much saying that there was someone who worked at a noted VTuber company, we can only assume it was Nijisanji, was then hired at Vishojo, and that person was very careless with some of these VTubers' identities.
How does that happen, bro? How does this person get on payroll and you never either figure this out or you never address it, bro? This person should have been fired the second this was known to the people, and it seems like this should have been known to somebody. Somebody should have known this.
Extremely taboo, seeing that these VTubers valued their privacy above all else. I mean, they're VTubers for a reason.
Right.
But even though that was despicable, she would still say that this is nothing compared to what Vishojo had done by stealing $500,000 from Iron Mouse that was meant for charity. Someone in the replies would point out saying, if you knew about this guy, why didn't you speak up earlier? Revealing a VTuber's information is dangerous to them. It just looks like you joined the bandwagon when it became relevant. To which he said, actually, I just came back from the US where I gathered the info that he was still within the company. And I was actually meeting up with someone who's been working with him in Japan this week. Given that it's a story I heard from someone else, I thought it was best to do in person. Miyauri, a Twitch streamer, would corroborate what Shibuya Kaho had said, saying, speaking of Vishojo, I remember one anime expo, I was at an after party and a certain someone was trying to flex how he could arrange private meet and greets with the creators behind the models. Never sat right with me because do these creators even know you're exploiting / treating them like party favors? Zentreya, who cares about her privacy so much that she literally uses a text-to-speech voice in order to communicate, would find out about this and say, someone who worked with Vishojo was giving out info? What the fuck? Are we so fucking serious? She then tagged Gunrun and said, dude, what the absolute fuck? I wasn't aware of this and I am assuming the others weren't either. Did you know? She would then edit the post and say, reading, it was Japanese side and it's so fuck, dude. It still stands and I personally don't even know what all happened behind the scenes on the English side. I just followed so blindly, leading Vishojo thinking it's all cool, man. Fuck me for being stupid. Obviously the community shared her shock, but also emphasized don't blame yourself, you didn't know. Even Mountain Dew, who used to be the chief marketing officer of Vishojo and one of the co-founders, would say, nah bro, what the absolute fuck? Tagging Gunrun on Twitter.
Well, hey, he says we'll look at this community note later. I'm just saying, Ah ha ha. I can't wait, baby. I can't wait.
Things were devolving, and they were devolving very quickly.
I'm
with
waiting
all of
for
these
you,
events
Mountain
barely
Dew.
happening within
It's
the
you
span
and
of
me, baby. Let's
24
let's see
hours
when he
after
brings that
ILS
up.
had posted her video. Now, seeing that Kei-san was in a different time zone, she woke up to absolute chaos. But she wasn't just going to simply sit by and watch all of this burn. She immediately announced a live stream at 9
That's
p.m.
why she's the
Japan
boss,
time,
dude.
with a thumbnail being
She really
"We
is
need
like
an
a
explanation,
like a
please answer
she really is like a
Bishoujo."
boss.
In it, she would do the unexpected and bring on the CEO of Bishoujo Japan for a discussion, giving him the avatar of a rat, saying Bishoujo
That's a
Japanese
cat.
CEO
That's not a
for
rat.
now.
That's a cat.
Yura on YouTube translated the entire conversation. Because the CEO wasn't comfortable speaking in English, he spoke in Japanese. He would confirm to the world that the $500,000 that the Immune Deficiency Foundation was owed was truly not paid. This was the first time a Bishoujo staff, especially someone as high up
I want to say this, okay? I actually gave this guy a lot of shit in the beginning, and I no longer stand by that. I do want to say that this guy does seem pretty genuine when it comes to like the talent, right? Like he even when he didn't have to, he got on call with Kei-san. I feel like under a guy like that, this would definitely not have happened this terribly, right? I feel like this guy probably had a good head on his shoulders, which sucks because a lot of the blame had fallen on him for the JP side, which even as the JP quote unquote CEO, he still didn't have a lot of power. So he, even if he wanted to, he probably couldn't pay the talent. Like that's not his money to just give out.
as him, confirmed this to us publicly. When questioned about financials further, he would explain that he had very limited access to company financials
Yeah,
since
there you
Bishoujo
go.
Japan was just a subsidiary.
Is the
He could
JP branch not separate? Oh,
only see
I
money
think Muchin
limited
just said
access
it
to
actually.
company financials since Bishoujo Japan was just a subsidiary. He could
Yeah,
only
it was just a subsidiary. It's not really like a separate branch, right? It's not like a separate branch with its own like CEO and like staff. It's just he is the stand-in CEO, quote unquote. But in reality, he just didn't have any power. He was just some guy who led the Japanese branch. And to be fair, he said that the Japanese branch was doing very well. So I gotta assume he did something right. I want to give him credit where credit's due. I feel like I was insanely unfair to him in the beginning.
see money coming in and out of Bishoujo Japan, and he was taking a risk coming to the stream because he had multiple higher-ups above him. And the most important moment in this entire live stream would be this right here. No need to explain, just watch.
Did you just say that Bishoujo JP itself was doing good?
そうですね。
In finances too?
そうですね。
You haven't paid me.
っていうことになるですね。その
That's what happened, yes. Wow.
本社の中の帳簿上はそうなってたっ
That's what it says on the main company finance books is what I
ていう
heard.
ことは聞いてます。
日本でもタレントに1円も払
In JP2, the talents are paid.
われてない状態っていうのを把握しておられたんでしょうか？
そうです。はい。
それは
Doesn't that mean the
資金的に
finances
うまく
aren't
いって
good?
ないのでは？
入ってくるお金と出ていくお
If you
金
only look at it
No,
at the
数字を
figures of the
見たら
money coming in and going
日本の
out, the
支部っていうのは
Japan branch is doing well.
うまくやっていたってことですね。
出ていこうか
The money going in
で
and
き
coming
た
out.
お金I quit Bishoujo today.
はい。
I get it, right? I do, and I think her quitting was a good decision. I don't know if she got it or she didn't get it. I think the thing is that like he's not him, right? He's not that guy. He can't really be doing all this stuff where he just pays people just because he feels like it, right? Although the JP branch was doing well, that's not his money to give out. This is Vishojo's money. Vishojo doesn't have a separate like to be honest, I feel like if JP was its own separate branch with its own company, CEO and all that, I feel like Vishojo JP would still be around to this day under this guy right here, because it feels like this guy knows what he's doing and he knows how to lead a team. Unfortunately, that's just not how the structure of the company is. So even though they were doing well financially, it feels like they were just subsidizing the money for Vishojo itself, which kind of sucks because now I don't think he could have paid him in the first place, but the company now can't pay him even if he wanted to, because that money's going back to Vishojo, which is going to God knows where, and so the talent can't be paid. Like that's such a God, that would be such a terrible situation for this guy. Like, I feel bad for him.
31日予定でしたけど、今日やめ
If
ま
I'm
す。
doing
So
channel
she
first,
quit
couldn't do that.
live in front of the Japanese CEO's face, in front of tens of thousands of people, revealing that she was planning on quitting on July 31st because in general she wasn't paid since last year, since September 2024. An amount of money that was in the six figures. During this call, he also specified that his salary was slashed in half and that there were talks about separating Japanese Vishojo and English Vishojo wallets since the Japanese side was doing so well. But again, since it was doing
Dude, they cut his salary in half? Really?
so well, how come Kei-san and other Japanese talents weren't paid for so
That
long?
sucks.
This is why she quit. Now, the CEO would specify that the staff was still being paid, just not the talent. And to clarify any confusion, Legal Mindset, who is a reliable lawyer, would say another note from Kei-san's stream regarding staff being paid first, they had to pay the staff due to clear labor law violations if they didn't pay full-time staff. They are banking on the ambiguity of Vishojo talent as independent contractors to shaft them out of payment. He would then go on to say, overall, Kei-san's stream shows US Vishojo leadership aiming for bankruptcy as a solution to discharge unpaid payments to the talents as independent contractors. Now is the best time for VTubing industry to challenge this insanity and establish that VTubers are true employees. So now we just went from them stealing $500,000 meant for charity to not paying their talents to try to legally squirm away from paying their talents money that they're owed. As this entire chaos was unfolding, Michi would go live to talk about what was going on. She would briefly go over how we got here, how she started VTubing as a way to hang out with friends, and eventually she would end up at
That's
Nijisanji,
scummy.
and
Dude,
it
that's
wouldn't
so
really
awful.
end well. After
I
Nijisanji,
just hate how I don't know if he is getting away with it, but if he is, I just hate how he could potentially get away with not paying people because of bankruptcy, because of how companies work and how this guy could file for bankruptcy and now he's just gone. Like, he just takes the money and he's gone. That's so messed up.
she'd be at a point in her life where she had picked up bad habits again and had a lot of baggage. So she was very grateful to Vishojo for giving her a second chance, for saving her essentially, making her trust them fully. This is why she would sing their praises so much and so often, something that she says she feels embarrassed by now that everything has been unfolding. Finally, she announces that she's officially quitting Vishojo and that they also owe her a significant amount of money. She then says that of course there are other things, but she can't discuss them right now due to legal reasons. Amelie would join Michi in announcing that she will be terminating her contract with Vishojo effective
Shout out to
immediately
Amelie,
and
who
will be
was there
returning
for
to
a
being
total
an
of like
independent
10
VTuber
minutes.
and content creator. Kuro would also go live to talk about his experience, and he
I don't know why that's such a funny image in my mind of Amelie doing the Homer Simpson's dad gif where he comes in the door, puts his hat down, and leaves. That's exactly what happened.
say that the first year at Vishojo was amazing. The contract was amazing, and it was a complete difference to the first company he worked for, which was Nijisanji. He would then say that the second year got more weird, more disjointed, less collabs between the talents at Vishojo like the first year, and overall, the vision wasn't as clear as it used to be. To him, Vishojo began being a company with a lot of empty promises. But the reason why he and other talents didn't leave is because they would have many meetings with Gunrun and important staff, explaining their grievances and being promised that things were going to improve, and they trusted them. Unlike other companies they worked for, they had the CEO listening to everything they were saying, telling them that don't worry, we'll take everything into account.
Chat, remember,
but just like the
devs
other
listen.
talents, this trust that Kuro gave Vishojo wouldn't be rewarded in the end, saying that he also hasn't been paid since September 2024, and that he had only received the funds for the merch that he sold during his debut in 2023 in June of 2025, and only because his manager pushed for it so much. Obviously, that is crazy. He would then tweet out the fact that he removed Vishoujo from his name and would
there
lose
it
the
goes.
Vishoujo logo on Twitter saying, and there it goes, how do you do fellow indie VTubers?
Why
Hime
is
Hajime
his
would then
emo
join her fellow
impreg?
talents and say, I can confirm I have also quit Vishoujo. These past few years I got to meet and befriend some amazing people, but I can no longer be part of the
Where was Hime this whole time? I feel like I've never seen a Hime stream.
company. Henya the
Shout out to Hime,
Genius
though.
would then go live to talk about her perspective, and here's what she had to say. Just 5 minutes before the stream, she found out that her birthday merch was never shipped. Merch that her fans paid for. They never
I actually have problems with this as well. I don't know why they had this whole, or I actually had problems with other Henya the Genius merch. I actually, God, it took me like 5-6 months to actually get my Henya the Genius. What shirt was it? It was my face when I see Reese's cups or some shit. I forgot. It was my face when I see some snack. Not only did it take like 5 months for me, I ended up having to message them. They're like, "Oh, sorry, we just had some issues." Blah 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 blah. I was like, "Sure, you know what?" They replied to me. I guess I'm not that mad. Not only did I not get my Hanya the Genius shirt for a long time, I got the wrong size. You think I could message them about that? You think anyone's still at the door keeping the lights on? You think I can get another size, bro? Could I be like, "Hey, yo, I got the wrong size. You think I can get another one?"
never received it. Her manager
I really should have put my foot down and tried to do that because I don't think I'm getting it now.
and her attorney are now handling the situation, and she'll update her fans when she can. She's of course officially leaving Vishoujo, and the situation has been very heartbreaking for her. And just like the other
Damn.
talents, the company owes her a significant amount of money that they've delayed for a very
Don't
long
show
time.
her
One could
crying.
guess
I
that it
can't
was
handle
since
it. I
she
can't
joined
handle
almost.
Hanya crying.
Just like with Michi, Vishoujo gave her hope again. She almost quit VTubing, but here she felt like she had a second chance. She trusted them deeply. But thankfully, even though she was backstabbed by this company she trusted, she will be continuing VTubing as an independent. But this wouldn't just be talents currently at the company, this would be also ex-talents that would finally be able to talk about their grievances with Vishoujo. One of them being Silverveil. She went live to talk about it, and I mean, just listen to this clip, it'll tell you everything. This is her talking about what happened during the whole Hogwarts Legacy
This
controversy.
feels like I have to jump through hurdles every time, bro. Come on, I can't handle this. Okay, let's go. Let's go.
And how as she was being harassed, she got on a call with Gunrun. Watch.
I was put into a call with Gun, the CEO of the company, like someone that I admired and I looked up to and I wanted to please, someone that I thought was the coolest person ever. And he told me that I was a damage to the brand, that I was a disappointment. I was told that me being harassed was an inconvenience to the other talents and not to talk to them. Optics were more important than their own talent's well-being. And I was suspended from streaming. They said it wasn't a suspension because they weren't that kind of agency, but what else do you call being told not to stream?
Yeah, as she was dealing with the harassment campaign, instead of the company supporting her, making sure she was okay, the CEO got into a call with her and called her a disappointment. Gunrun was essentially
Oh my god, bro. I hate listening to that so much. What a piece of shit he is, bro. I hope he loses everything. I hope that I am praying that Mousy is able to take some of this guy's money, because he deserves nothing. He literally deserves nothing, and he deserves to lose it all. I don't care what kind of company Vishoujo was in the beginning. That's all I needed to hear to know that this place needed to get burned to the ground, and I hope that he never gets another paycheck again.
siding with the harassers and doxers. After that, of course, she wanted to leave. Vei wanted
I'm not a very forgiving person.
to leave too for her own reasons that she would reveal later. But they would only allow them to leave together at the same time to make it seem like it was a joint decision and not an individual one. They couldn't complain because it turned out that their contract had no exit clause, which is, I think, pretty much illegal. And Nyaners, who wanted to also leave, wasn't allowed to leave with them. She had to graduate separately. Now you think, why is it that Vishojo wanted Silverveil and Vei to graduate at the same time? Well, that's simple, because after they left, they would start talking behind their backs to other talents, as well as the brands, artists, and business partners that they had worked with.
God, I knew it.
Vishojo
I knew
management
it, bro.
would make it their life's mission to slander both Silverveil and Vei to make it seem like they were problem childs. Like the reason why they left and the reason why they got into so much controversy was their problem, not Vishojo's. It was disgusting. But even after leaving, Silverveil
disgusting,
wasn't
bro.
done with the trauma of Vishojo. She said that the threat of Vishojo suing her haunted her for a very, very long time. Because at some point, before she even graduated, she had mentioned in her Discord that she was stressed and needed to
I'm not gonna
cancel-
lie. Nowadays, when you look at it back, she should have taken that, because like, she should have taken on their bluff, because that guy on their team who was supposed to be their quote unquote lawyer didn't have a license anymore. I would have taken that. I would have called their bluff. I would have shaken their hand. You know what, brother? Shake my hand.
the stream. Her lawyer was immediately contacted by Vishojo.
You wanna know something, Gun Run? Now block this up. Now block this honest overhead. Shake my hand, brother.
After she had posted that message, and they threatened to sue her if she
You ever
just
seen
hinted
XR
that she
Kai?
was
I'll give you
leaving
the
or
most
was
honest
unhappy
overhead.
at all at the company. She constantly felt watched and felt like she had to be very careful of what she said at all times. This wasn't a company who put talent first or valued talent freedom. This was a dystopian, nightmarish agency. People felt so sorry for Silverveil because she's had to keep this to herself for years, not able to ever talk about it. She said this was the first time she felt like she could start to heal now that she was able to talk. But the bombshells here weren't over, because she would then tweet this out saying, "My heart goes out to all the communities affected by this recent news. I know that it's surprising and heart-wrenching for a lot of people. There's a lot I wish I could say, but I signed a pretty aggressive NDA. They made my mom sign one too. All I can say is that it's
They didn't make me sign shit. Gun Run, you's a bitch.
been bad for a long time, and I warned everyone as much as I could. It was
I'll
so
say it
much
to your
worse than you
face
could
too,
imagine.
brothers.
The
Don't think I
VTubers make
won't.
the agency, not the other way around. To take advantage of those who trusted you is vile. Never derive your value from an agency. Believe in yourself and your content, because you're worth so much more than you can imagine. They made her mother sign an NDA. That's how badly they treated her, and were also scared of her. Legal Mindset came in to clarify, yeah, making your mom sign is not going to hold up, truly showing us how ridiculous this all is. But if you thought that was bad, Nyaners would then go live to reveal to us even more very disturbing details.
Oh,
The shoujo
jeez.
wasn't good with payments as early as 2023, owing her almost 6 figures worth of payments. She would then
Damn,
reveal
bro.
that part of the money she was owed was for a sponsor stream in which she literally got swatted. Someone doxed her
I
and
wonder
sent police
what
at her
stream that
house.
was.
She had guns pointed at her. But even though that happened, she would then
I don't
continue
remember that
streaming because she
happening.
was doing a sponsor stream and didn't want to disappoint the agency.
Yeah.
Guess what? Part of the money she's owed was that stream. She wasn't paid for the stream in which she got swatted and kept going when she could have just easily ended. After leaving Vishojo, within just a few months, she had made more money than she had ever made under the agency. The same thing applied to Silverveil. Since the first contracts had no exit clause, the only way Nyaners, Vei, and Silverveil were confident enough to leave was because Vishojo at the time had an expired business license. Before leaving, though, she was still in the process of renewing and brought in a lawyer to review the contract. As she was doing this, she was guilt-tripped by the staff. We can only assume this was the CEO, saying things like, "Wow, she's so heartless, she's talking to us through a lawyer," which is ridiculous, by the way. Having a lawyer review a contract should be normal. It is normal. Her lawyer would then audibly be horrified during the contract call, sighing and saying, "Some of this is ridiculous. Some of this isn't legal." We would then get further clarification on the graduations of 2023. Vei comes in the chat and specifies that part of the company's terms for her exit was announcing her and Silver's departures at the same time to avoid panic. Vei also didn't get paid for any sponsors from 2021 to 2023, and she needed to hire a lawyer to pester them 24/7 in order to get her money, which makes her believe that Vishojo had used other talents' money in order to pay her. In the end, Nyaners thought that she was genuinely going to take all of this to the grave, never being able to clear her name. But when the Iron Mouse situation had unfolded, she finally felt like she was safe enough to talk to everyone about this.
That's good.
After that stream,
Glad
she
to
would
hear
tweet
that.
out, "I'm so sorry, I'm still sick, so I gotta take today's stream off, but I wanted to express how thankful I am to everyone for all the support. Not just for me, but for everyone who's had to
I'm just glad that a lot of these girls, like at the end of the day, this is the most important thing, right? Is that the girls who were wronged got their closure, right? The money is big, bro. That's a lot of money, but like the sense of security and the sense of knowing that like all that you went through eventually had some kind of closure. Unfortunately, it's not like the best end case scenario because Gunrun, obviously he probably filed for bankruptcy. He's gonna run away with a lot of the money. But Iron Mouse is on his trail, so let's hope that she gets something out of him.
This painful situation. It's heartbreaking they had to go through so much undue stress caused by the people they trusted in. I wish them all the best, and I know they'll go on to keep doing amazing things
they were able to
and
clear
have
some
many
of their
brighter opportunities
at
awaiting
least
them.
something.
It was scary,
bro.
but I'm immensely grateful and relieved to have finally been able to speak out about a lot that has weighed on me for the past 2 years. It was an incredibly difficult time for me that left me feeling so isolated and mentally burnt out for a long while. I know many others have felt the same way, and my heart goes out to them. To be met with the overwhelming amount of understanding and support from everyone when I thought I'd never be able to talk about this or have any kind of closure has helped me so much. Thank you for hearing me out and being so chill. It means the world to me. It's been an awful time for a lot of people, to say the least, but I hope that on the bright side of things, all of this coming to light can create meaningful change going forward. Seeing the VTuber community come together like this to lift each other up has been so nice to see. Please send the former Vishoujo talent and everyone affected by this all the love.
I think so too, because normally, obviously, there is no VTuber community. That's just something that people say just to, I don't know, get there to push whatever they want to say. There is no real like VTuber, what do you call it, VTuber community? Like not one that's together, right? Because everything is so splintered off, and there's like, the way I like to put it is that like a VTuber is kind of like a race in an MMO. You pick your race and then you pick your stats and stuff like that, right? You either start IRL, no cam, or a VTuber, and then you get into your substats. You know, your IRL, not your IRLs, your just chattings, your gamings, your this, your that. So it's kind of hard to make an actual VTuber community, but I'm so glad that everyone came together on this situation and just gave very generously to the Immune Deficiency Foundation. And it seemed like, even though we can never truly make up what happened to these girls, like everyone showed that we can come together and try to make some good out of such a terrible situation, right?
And please donate to the Immune Deficiency Foundation. Thank you guys for everything, and let's look forward to way more fun times in the future. Nyanners and Silvervale were finally able to clear their names, and Vey was able to chime in as well. Many people felt very bad with how they perceived them and were there to show them support. But it wasn't just talents and ex-talents of Vishoujo that had something to say. No, Vishoujo didn't need to have someone be a talent in order to mistreat them. In the summer of 2024, Vishoujo would open their applications again. And since
this is stuff I didn't know about
to join, it was safe to assume that this was going to be the same amount of time required for a new talent to join as well. What the hell was happening to them as this entire company was crumbling? Well, they would decide to also speak out. I know some people have noticed that I've been spotty with streams lately, and the reason is actually because I was supposed to join Vishoujo this year. A lot has happened, and after over half a year after signing, I requested to have my contract voided. I won't go into detail, but it was an opportunity that I was very excited about, and I'm sad that I won't be able to bring you everything I had in mind. I'm sorry for all the delayed projects and ideas I excitedly talked to you guys about, but I'll be working on them by myself slowly. To the few people at Vishoujo I was able to talk to, thank you for giving a chance to a bug like me. I hope everyone who hears about this news, even if you don't know me or watch me, can still send support to the Vishoujo girls, both existing and my gen mates. I'm sorry things turned out this way. Thank you to my bug bros and friends for always supporting me and being there for me. You guys are the reason why I'm strong. Let's keep having fun, okay? She would, just like Haruka, link the Tiltify for the Immune Deficiency Foundation. And we'd also have yet another VTuber by the name of PayaPie tweet this out, saying, I've been searching for the right words. Here they are as carefully as I can say them. I was one of the girls who passed the Vishoujo audition. After 4 years of blood, sweat, and slime, I really believed I'd made it. That all the late nights, overtime, sacrifice meant something more. I was excited to take a huge leap with the community I built as me, the weird little slime girl you know and hopefully love. But after learning what happened with Mousie's charity funds, I couldn't in good conscience move forward with my contract, and it all came crashing down. That was the final straw. We were promised support, stability, and financial compensation. I was so excited to join a company I believed in and that believed in me, but it became clear that many of these promises wouldn't be kept. A lot of us are now left shouldering the costs of decisions we didn't make. I turned down other opportunities because I believed in this one, and I don't regret having hope or for wishing on shooting stars. I was so ready, I still am. What hurts most though is losing the chance to debut alongside some of the most incredible, talented, kind, and hardworking girls I've ever met. I didn't just join for myself, I joined for the shared dream we all believed in and that I still believe in. I know some of you have sensed something has been off these past few months. I've been doing my best to smile through the storm, but the truth is it's been raining on me for a long time. You've all given me so much love and support, and I'm sorry I haven't been able to be at my best. I'm working through my feelings, sweeping up pieces of those broken dreams and figuring out how to chase new ones. Thank you for being patient with me. I will find my way again, but I just need a little time. And if you're still reading, please send your love to all the Vishoujo talents, past, present, and future. Everyone is hurting in their own way, and kindness costs nothing. Until then, stay happy. Absolutely heartbreaking.
Damn.
Unfortunately, though, the heartbreak wouldn't end here because there was yet
How
another
many
member by the name
people?
of Phoebe-chan who found themselves in the same boat, saying, I needed extra time to gather my thoughts before saying anything, but I was one of the undebuted Vishoujo talents who passed the audition last
I think
year.
it's supposed to be. I think there was supposed to be a whole talent. Like, they were supposed to be an idol group, right? If I remember correctly. I don't know if these people were part of it. I just remember that Mint saying she was supposed to be part of an idol group, something with V-Shoujo. That's kind of nuts.
gentle towards
How many
those
people are
affected,
actually
linking a
part of
YouTube
this?
video titled My Experience with Vishoujo. She would also echo the same things as Pai Pai, saying that she had worked so hard to get to this point, and it is just so heartbreaking to see it all fall apart within the span of a day. It's just a stab to the heart when you see people who were so hardworking and patient get so close to bearing the fruits of their labor and not able to even enjoy them. This
Yeah.
would also happen to the fifth and final member that was meant to join Vishoujo. As far as I'm aware, there were 5 of them. She went by the name Tori Oriane, but her story was a bit more unique than the others.
Okay.
You see, Vishoujo had for some reason implored her to completely abandon her identity, to start from scratch with a new model and new name in Vishoujo. That was kind of counterintuitive when
Okay.
it came to talent freedom, but she accepted. I mean, she wanted to be in this agency that signified success for her. She'd
Right.
be strung along for months, being
Okay.
told that they were working on her debut, working on her model, working on her assets, when in reality they were doing none of that. She only found out recently that this wasn't happening as the company was imploding, and this was with the mindset that she was abandoning this account, so she didn't put as much effort into this, thinking that she was going to start anew in Vishoujo. This company stole
man.
$500,000 in charity funds and, with no exaggeration, ruined the hopes and dreams of 5 people that had so much potential. That is criminal. But as you might have guessed,
6.
those 5 talents were not
Now
the
it's
only
Mint.
ones who got screwed over by Vishoujo. You even had the very well-renowned VTuber Mint Fantôme post this, saying, my experience with Vishoujo, sorry to add to the discourse, but I'd be really appreciative if you would listen. In it, she would say that her interactions with Vishoujo started when she would make a podcast with Matara. Even though she wasn't a member, she did collaborate on merch, but didn't receive a single dollar from it.
It's actually really funny that to find out that this was actually something that was going to happen, because I'm pretty sure a lot of people were speculating on this. I remember hearing that, like, oh, they're reunited again, and like people were speculating just when Mint was actually going to get a contract. And it's weird to realize that that was kind of the case. There was kind of talks to have that actually happen.
From it. When she met up with Matara in Japan, she told her that she was feeling lonely, that she wanted to join a group or a company. So eventually she came up with the idea to pitch an idol group to Vishoujo, and Gunrun was supportive. And Vishoujo would audition 2 other people. These would be completely separate from the 5 VTubers we just saw. The problem, though, is that the debut kept
8
getting
people?
delayed. She tried to be as patient as possible in the beginning, but then it just became ridiculous. Another merch drop would happen, and again, she would receive $0 from it. And that, technically speaking, throughout the whole thing, she was actually a Vishoujo talent for over a year, even though no one really knew about it publicly. This was, of course, again, tragic. And it would show us a trend with Vishoujo, the fact that they wanted to do so much, but very often would bite way more than they could chew. The same thing would happen with Quinn, who is a VTuber that used to be at Nijisanji that also happens to stream with
Quinn
Facecam.
Bennett?
Vishoujo would tell him that they're interested, that they really would love to sign him on, but eventually would just ghost him. This company's higher-up management was ran by complete clowns who didn't really know how to run a business. And
Fun fact, I was contacted for an opportunity to join V-Shoujo back in 2023, and I'm glad I didn't go through. Please support Mouse. I'm telling you, bro, they are not looking for new people. They are trying to specifically cast a wide net of top talent,
more
bro.
revelations would
This
come
just
out. For example,
solidifies
Shoto,
what I
who
was
is
saying.
A very big VTuber would say, fun fact, I was contacted for an opportunity to join Vshoujo back in 2023, and I'm very glad it didn't go through. Please support Mouse and support the Immune Deficiency Foundation, y'all. To which
Yes,
Sayu,
sir.
yet another very big VTuber, would say, you
Damn.
too? Damn, and retweet. Shy Lily, who needs no introduction,
Wait, me
would say,
too.
good
No.
thing I trusted my gut feeling when Vshoujo tried to recruit me. Their contract was riddled in red flags and basically legal robbery.
Dude, I cannot. Dude, there would have genuinely. There genuinely would have been no stopping V-Shoujo had they actually gotten Shy Lily. They literally would never have had to. They probably could have just supported the company alone on Zentreya, Shy Lily, and Iron Mouse. They wouldn't need anybody else. because that's just how big they are. That's like no dig to anybody else, especially not to my favorite Gogurt, but like that's just how massive these VTubers are, right? I just want it to be like I'm just trying to give a scope as to how big these talents would have been in VShojo.
This makes me sick to my stomach. Please, if you can, support Mouse and the Immune Deficiency Foundation. And even more tragically, Sayu, who used to be at Nijisanji and was treated horrendously by that company. Like I'm talking, she was doxxed and harassed and everything, and Nijisanji did nothing, effectively what Gunrun had done to Silvervale, would get in contact with VShojo as she was stepping out of Nijisanji. At that point, she had lost all hope, but VShojo had given her renewed hope. She pitched an idea to Gunrun, saying what if she left and several others left, and they would make a gen of ex-Nijis in VShojo. He liked the idea, wanted to listen to more things she had to say. She felt like she was finally validated for the first time in her career. And Gunrun, the CEO of VShojo, would tell her that he wanted to help and that this sounded like a plan, saying that the only thing he was waiting on was for her and Nijisanji to finalize their graduation. After she'd go through an absolute nightmare and finally get rid of that company, she would reach out to Gunrun again and would only receive a surface level response, effectively ghosting her. She had lost everything.
No, bro. What? That's so wrong, bro. What the why? Bro, this has to be because he wanted to get rid of, like, he had to have been trying to cut down Nijisanji without actually competing against them. That's so wrong, bro. I mean, it's a good strategy at the end of the day, but like that's because like they can't go back. Right? They can't go back to the company they just left. They're graduated. They can't go back. But that's messed up, bro. That's insanely messed up.
Everything in Nijisanji.
That's so
She had lost
wrong.
complete hope. Gunrun gave her some hope, and she had lost that too. All in the span of just a few months. It turned out that VShojo wasn't this next level, new era VTuber agency. It was run by a manipulator who couldn't run a business better than a kid. And speaking of that manipulator and how he founded VShojo, I wasn't fully honest with you in that regard. It didn't really pop out of nowhere in
That's okay. It's not like he's ever fully honest with us anyways. Not Muujin, I mean Gunrun.
2020. No, it was actually a work in progress, and it was only revealed in 2020. And according to Project Melody herself, it began with Gunrun DMing her on Twitter. She was exclusively an adult content creator who streamed on adult sites, but he wanted to know if she was interested in streaming non-adult content on Twitch. Watch her say this herself.
I debuted on a different site. That was the only thing I wanted to do. And then Gunrun reached out to me on Twitter the day that I was closing DMs. Like I was going to click delete, and then he was the top. And he said, hey, I love what you're doing. Anime is awesome, and, you know, hentai, and I like your vibe. If there's anything I can do to help, let me know. And he's like, have you been on Twitch? Would you consider that? And I'm like, hell no, I won't. And then...
So that's a pretty interesting piece of history. She was technically the first ever founding member of VShojo. But here's two more interesting things. The first one being that she thought this was going to be a LootTuber agency, full of people that make adult content like her. And the second interesting fact is that initially she acted as the talent manager. You'll see this for yourself because she explains this too.
Okay.
In the back of my mind, I thought it was going to be a YouTuber agency. But then I accidentally ran into Mouse, and I heard her talking about seeing someone on a train, and then she sang Ave Maria, and I said, her right there, she is the one. Yes.
Now, of course, she's half joking over here, but it's interesting to see how much of an influence she had on the early days of VShojo, even before they came up with the name of the agency. And again, I'm not making this up or exaggerating. She said this herself on her stream. Take a look for yourself.
Originally, when we started via...
This is probably the part where all the melody stuff comes out, huh? Oh god, am I about to have my world turned upside down?
SJ, before we even went with the name, the concept kind of was thinking a talent agency, but for more people like me. Because we're like, clearly lewd tubing will eventually happen. We didn't have a word for it because it wasn't a thing. And yeah, exactly. That would be really neat, is a lewd tubing group. And I'm sure it will eventually happen. But, oh damn, that would be a cool avenue. Yes, but very quickly we realized, like, I mean, that kind of, like, isolates us. And, there's a lot of cool people out there, just, like people hidden amongst it because there wasn't
Among
that
Us?
many
Oh,
English speaking
sorry.
ones. It was almost entirely Japan based. And so LootTubing was more obscure. It was a neater concept to build something that's more general and
So she was
I don't think anyone ever, and I don't think anything ever came out of LootTubing, right? Smile. I don't think anyone ended up doing it. Surely no one ended up doing it.
the first founding member. She was also the talent manager who decided to pick Iron Mouse and the other founding talents. And the reason why I'm pointing all this out is because all roads lead back to the Nux controversy. Take a look at what he had to say once Nyanners talked about her swatting as VShojo was imploding, well, right now.
Right.
Watch.
VTuber Nyanners says that VShojo didn't pay her for a sponsored stream when she got swatted. She left the agency in 2023 and claims VShojo had failed to pay her for multiple deals over several years. Now, I'm not going to lie to you. I actually knew about this. I actually knew about this years ago because that stream that she got swatted, the person that swatted her was the person that tried to swat me that I helped VShojo actually get arrested. Okay? I don't think you are aware of this. I don't think you again, personal Nux information. The reason why a lot of the VShojo girls were so upset about my video calling attention to this swatter is because I think a lot of misinformation was fed to them by the VShojo company, but also because that swatter actually swatted Nyanners. I never said this publicly because I felt like it wasn't actually appropriate. And, you know, it's not my information to deliver or release. I never do that. As you know, I don't actually release private information, generally speaking, unless I think it's actually important. But this is actually a thing. And Nyanners actually called me after the drama to basically tell me and express her headspace about the entire situation and why she was so, like, easy to be triggered by everything, because she was actually swatted, and it's fucking horrible. It really is.
Right, I get that.
Whatever. I don't want to get into details. As you know, private information remains private. I don't release anything publicly. But that was what happened, it turned out. It was that same swatter that actually went after me.
Well, I'm glad
yes,
he caught his ass, right? I hope he got arrested. I think he said he got arrested.
Continue her stream after she was swatted because it was a sponsored stream. The update is that she didn't even get paid for that.
Huh. Interesting. So Nyanners was doxxed and swatted by the same person trying to dox Nux and Saki Nightshade. That was never mentioned by VShojo in their very lengthy explanation. They claimed that there were only 2 victims of that specific doxing method. But what I find really interesting is that Nux, even though he was literally being backstabbed out in public, still tried to protect Project Melody, who was in the group. In fact, she was the creator of that group. She was the one who invited Nux, Phoenix, and Gunrun. You can see this in the crown that's next to her name on the right. The only reason we found out she was there was because of Fruit, even though I don't even think that was her intention. So this, of course, raises even more questions.
Wait, how do we know?
Was the victim here. How come she wasn't the one in this group instead of Project Melody? And why is it that Project Melody's here with the CEO and the head of the cybersecurity operations of VShojo? Did Gunrun view her as a co-founder? And finally, seeing that she held some role of importance in VShojo, was she aware of the financial constraints of the company in 2025? Those are fairly important questions to ask. But with all this new information at our disposal, it comes as no surprise that Project Melody was one of the final members of VShojo to announce her resignation, saying this: "I waited to make a statement because I'm always anxious and struggle to find my words, but yes, I'm leaving VShojo. I was an OG talent, put everything into this company, but I'm beyond devastated at what happened, and I'd never in a million years thought I'd be saying these words." Now, I'm not implying anything, and to do so would be dangerous.
Of course,
so take this with a grain of salt. But so far, on every tweet of every single VShojo member leaving, there were other VShojo members replying. Not a single one can be found in these 1,100 replies on this post. Project Melody would make yet another post saying that she's taking a 1 to 2 week break. Again, in the replies, not a single VShojo member can be found. Now look, this could very well be a complete coincidence. It's not like they unfollowed her.
Has she come back to streaming since then? Hold on, I hate to pause such a long video still, but let me Project Melody, not Melody U, Melody U. This was on July. So she hasn't come back since then. So she hasn't tweeted, she hasn't said anything. So she posted this July 23rd. That was about, how long is that ago? 2 weeks ago. Okay. So she should be in the process of coming back if she's coming back on time from when she said.
On Twitter. To say that Project Melody had a hand in embezzling the $500,000 that belonged to the charity would be absolutely ridiculous. But what we can do right now is simply ask questions, especially in regards to the Nux controversy, which is still missing some pieces. We'll see if she'll have anything to add or clarify when she's back from her break. In the meantime, though, every single member of Nova would all leave together, putting an end to this joint venture between Vishoujo and the Universal Music Group in Japan. But Gunrun was silent. The company's page was silent, and it would take yet another 24 hours.
I want to know if he says more about Melody, because that leaves a lot of questions to be answered. I don't like where that ended off.
July 24th, 2025, to finally get an official statement from Vishoujo. Gunrun would finally post his statement using the Vishoujo official Twitter page, saying, Vishoujo has failed, and I've mismanaged the company into the situation you're all witnessing. So today I'm sharing the difficult news that Vishoujo is shutting down.
Sorry, this is Zelda Zone Zero TV music. I actually really like
that
this.
Led us to this point. I've been doing everything I can to fundraise and right the ship these past few months, but despite my efforts, we are in a worse position and those I care about are not paying the price. Over the past few years, we raised around $11 million to pursue a bold, talent-first approach in VTubing, prioritizing creators and community over short-term profits to achieve long-term sustainability. Our funding went directly to our creators through generous splits, debut investments, infrastructure, concerts, events, and staffing, all designed to support them. We also wanted talent to own their IP, which we knew was a unique creator-first approach for an agency. However, despite all our efforts, the business failed to generate the revenue we needed to sustain that model, and eventually we ran out of money. Additionally, I acknowledge that some of the money spent by the company was raised in connection with talent activity, which I later learned was intended for a charitable initiative.
You later learned about it? You didn't know about this at all?
Hard to raise additional investment capital to cover our costs, and I firmly believe, based on the information available to us, that we would be able to do so and cover all expenses. We were unsuccessful in our fundraising efforts. I made the decision to pursue funding, and I own its consequences. I am deeply sorry to all the talents, staff, friends, and community members who believed in our brand. We did not deserve this. Signed, Justin Gunrun. What a dog shit apology, right? I mean, look, I objected this whole video. Come on, allow me to be a bit biased here. This is fucking terrible. So no wonder he got immediately community noted, saying
Chat, throw
Justin
tomatoes at him.
The purpose of these funds, but he personally congratulated Iron Mouse on the completion of her charity fundraising event and reposted Ludwig, directly mentioning that half the funds would go to charity. You can see Gunrun congratulating Iron Mouse on her subathon, saying, "You did it, Mouse." On July 25th, Legal Mindset would reply with, "The feds will be looking at this post."
Surely he didn't actually. No way he still has his Twitter up, right? Gunrun. Oh, he's still on Twitter. Why is he still on Twitter? Why would you still be on Twitter? Vishoujo still has a Twitter. What the fuck? Wow.
And here you can see the Gunrun retweeting a tweet from
Probably
Ludwig,
because of like
congratulating
legal
Iron
reasons,
Mouse
right?
on her crazy achievement. Iron Mouse would reply to this apology saying, "You broke my heart, my spirit, and my trust." Keisan would say, "Why didn't you let us know the moment you realized the situation? Why did I get this information 2 weeks ago, not from the company, but from my homegirls? Why did you lie to the Japanese branch a week ago that everything was good and taken care of?" Henya would say, "I had a wonderful time while I was in there, so because of that, it hurts my heart a
little
lot. My
Henya,
community
you
and my
leave her.
friends don't deserve this. I don't expect you to do anything at this point. Just please don't do this ever
I want to
again
give
to
Henya
anyone."
a hug,
Giga would
bro.
say,
She doesn't
"Vishoujo
deserve
didn't
this."
just fail. Many staff and leadership failed Vishoujo. Instead of using talent money on operating costs, the company should have shut down or at least informed us, but you used us as cash cows to keep things afloat while keeping us in the dark." Amelie would say, "This is exactly what Copium Merch did to me, and you promised it wouldn't happen to me again. I'm so beyond disappointed and frustrated, I don't even know what to feel anymore." Recounting an experience she had with a company that pretty much scammed her and her fans out of merch. Michi Mochievi would say, "We trusted you and you knew how hard that was for some of us to do. Our communities, people who only ever do their best to support us and care for us, do not deserve this either." Adding a little humorous twist and saying, "This does not get 5 big booms from me, OG."
No 5 big
Nyanners
booms.
would say, "So is the
No 5 big
COO going to
booms.
say anything about his involvement, or is he busy Googling how do I renew my law license past the deadline?" Pretty much revealing to us for the first time that the chief operating officer, the one who handled legalities within Vishoujo, had an expired law license. Silvervale would say, how did you not know? How could you betray the people that trusted you the most and think everyone would believe this garbage? You ruined lives. I hope the money gets repaid, but I wouldn't be surprised if it doesn't. You're a disgrace and a disappointment. Hey, you know what? You go, girl. She's just doing the same exact thing he did to her during the whole Hogwarts.
Fuck yes, bro. I'm so glad she says this. I love this woman.
Legacy fiasco. But one of the most heartbreaking replies would be from Zentreya, saying, I've been trying to figure out what to say. Why did you keep dodging my messages and concerns? When I wanted to do one-on-ones, you kept dodging or gave me a short corporate answer. Even when I was under immense pressure from the community for answers about the auditions and I pleaded for a statement by your PR team, you told me it wasn't needed. You made a tiny video instead, looking like you were hurt and upset, saying sorry, instead of meeting me one-on-one for my concerns, and I was left crying and frustrated. But like a fucking dog, I went back and happy to even get something from you because, oh man, boss actually answered me. You wanted a one-on-one finally when you knew everything was crashing around you. Then debuting new talents and such even after the community kept asking about it and kept waving it off and letting me take the punches. I smiled. I fucking brushed it off and kept pushing the company because I was hopeful for new talent and bringing new people to help. Instead, I find you were hiring people without input and poaching without even the idea of truly helping them other than financial gain. We didn't even know who you were bringing in. You and the team told us to just take it. You and some people were really ready for me to be thrown under over and over. Even when Amelie joined, I begged you to put out a statement regarding auditions before she announced her debut stream. You gave us the middle finger. Me and Amelie had to put out a statement because your PR team was unfit for their job. I took it all. Why did we have to say anything at all? Why did I have to keep taking the fucking damage over and over? You were hurting me well before this, you know you have. I've been pushing a company so blindly who didn't even care for me, but I'm an idiot and I kept believing. I was so excited for this. I spent sleepless nights dealing with constant harassment, and you spent money which you didn't even have without even warning us on God knows what, and you knew, don't even lie, you knew that the money was for charity and was supposed to be placed to the side to be untouched. Where did $11 million go in less than 3 years even? What happened to all that money? I'm just really tired from all these years of working, trying to push for something that kept pushing me to the wolves. I was so stupid, but I was so excited. I really trusted you. We all did. Despite everything, I don't wish you any ill will. I just hope you find some way to make.
Damn. That's such a powerful statement, dude. It really, like, of course, because I only know because of Silvervale, because she has been the one who put out statements and stuff like that and putting out videos and, you know, being on camera when she is harassed. It really is, this really does put into perspective how much we don't really know and what wasn't acknowledged and what wasn't said. I do, man, Zentreya is something special. That's like, that's such an understatement, but Zentreya is something special, especially the way she just harbored everyone's hate on her back just to push a company that she believed in more than anything. I can't imagine the heartbreak this has to come with, to know that you put your heart, your blood, sweat, and tears into something that in the end wouldn't do the same for you, right? Because she did all of this just to get screwed over in the end. And I feel, it just feels bad to just know that, dude. It's like, that's just heartbreaking. There's no other words than heartbreaking, soul crushing. I would have quit. I would have just left, bro. I would have quit everything. I'd have gone, just kept whatever money I had, gotten a job and go out and done something else, dude, because this would have broken my spirit. I don't think I would have been strong enough to continue doing what Zentreya is doing, because, like, how does this happen, bro? Why would you do something like this? Where do you lose so much respect for your talents that this is something that you do? I'm not even mad. I don't even know what emotion to feel. That's just, I don't know, man. It's just wrong. And obviously things like this happen because this is a company at the end of the day. They want money. They don't really, you know, in the beginning we would have believed that this was a company that had everyone's best interest at heart, but of course it's a corporation that just doesn't, and it's just like, I don't know, man. This this is so wrong. There's just no other word, and this is just wrong. There's just like there's just someone that you're gonna have to answer for these one day, whether it be the court system or before God or somebody. This is just not. This is just inhumane, is what it is.
Make this right. Vishoujo had gone from being the hope of the VTubing community to a leech that had sucked out the hope of everyone who had any contact with it, whether they were talents or not talents, whether they had auditioned or were in the process of joining. This was a tragedy on a cataclysmic scale. And no one was believing anything he said. No, there was no way you didn't know that this money was intended for the Immune Deficiency Foundation. Zero possibility. You literally brought Iron Mouse to an Immune Deficiency Foundation charity event in person. Vishoujo even issued a press release stating they would donate half the profits from her subathon on September 2nd, 2024. You think this won't be used in court? You can't just feign ignorance. Legal Mindset would later chime in, saying the only reason the Vishoujo CEO included the later learned language is to try to keep himself out of criminal hot water. But I mean, come on. Even a pet hamster would understand by now that there's no way he's dodging this. Soon after, Twitch would remove the legacy emote known as Gunrun, not wanting to associate with him in any way. But you want to know what's crazy? Fruit has been inactive from January 2025. She finally made a comeback on July 21st, 2025, and literally just a day after she had come back, she would find out about the whole Iron Mouse situation. She effectively came back to a raging fire. At this point, it was already implied, but she still felt the need to specify that she's left Vishoujo, saying, as a day one talent, it's truly heartbreaking that it has come to this. I had the opportunity to achieve so much in the last 4 to 5 years. I'm really anxious about becoming indie, but I'm going to continue doing what I set out to do and make fun things.
What do
the
you
people,
do?
whether talent or staff, were the best part about the company.
Sorry, I'm in a bad mood. I probably shouldn't take it out on Fruit, but what do you... Whatever.
I had the pleasure of meeting so many inspiring individuals. I hope we can cheer them all on together moving forward. And with Fruit leaving, Vishoujo had officially become a talent agency with absolutely zero talent. I think it's important to specify that even though these VTubers already had one hell of a community around them, having to wrestle with the idea that you're going indie, that you're losing all the resources that this agency once gave you, all in the span of 24 hours, isn't the easiest thing to process. But you know what isn't easy to process? At least for Vishoujo? The fact that Vei didn't give a single shit that she was still under NDA. She saw the company crumbling, barely able to keep up with finances. She thought, they're not gonna sue me, so she revealed everything.
She's like Scar from The Lion King. Gunrun and Vishoujo are over the cliff, and she grabs them by their hands and says, "Long live the king," and throws them off.
And it was extremely
amazing
disturbing,
moment, by the way. Amazing.
Saying, and so our NDAs are now void. Why I left Vishoujo. Back in 2023, Vishoujo tried to bully me into one of the most
cinematic
contracts
experience
that I
to be
have
sure.
ever seen. When I tried to
As
ask
Rosie
more
would
about
say,
it,
straight
their COO
cinnamon.
got extremely hostile with me and refused to answer any of my questions, and so I had to hire a lawyer in order to get some clarification. During the talks, it became clear that Vishoujo would rather let me go than to take less away from me. They were ultimately wanting me to give up more than half of all my sponsor revenue and over 60% of all my merch sales. All I asked from them in return is to not take a cut of the sponsors that I was getting through Mythic, as that cut was already being taken. They said no, they want it all. So just to clarify any confusion here, most of the Vishoujo talents had a talent agency in parallel to Vishoujo, like Mythic Talent, for example. They would be there for the sole purpose of getting them sponsors. This was a completely normal thing to do, but Vishoujo wanted a cut of the sponsors from Mythic, even though they were doing nothing to get her those sponsors.
Right.
They would then continue, and so I asked to leave after being treated like I was disposable in our talks. They basically made it seem like they were my employer and that they're the reason for my success, that I owe them and that I should be happy to give them my money. In order for me to leave, they demanded I sign an NDA that prevented me from speaking to any of the other talent about it. I could not say why I was leaving. I could not say what the terms that I was saying no to were. I even got in trouble for advising them to hire their own attorneys. They would watch my streams, read my Discord, and then threaten to sue me. If I said anything that hinted towards how I really felt about the company, I was threatened with a lawsuit. Another one of their leave terms was that they will announce both me and Silver on the same day in order to minimize the damage to their company. Their COO had begun to push a narrative on 4chan, yes, I'm serious,
I can't, actually, I was going to say, I can't believe that, but now that, you know, I watch a lot of parrot videos, and because of that, I actually have gone on, I've totally haven't gone on, r/VT, or, not r/ on, /VT, more constantly. I totally don't do that. I'm not one of those people who go on that. But I'm just saying, from what I've seen on there, I believe it. I completely believe it.
LMFAO and other social media that I'm leaving because I plan to join OTK and that
I see why people go on there, by the way. It's really addicting.
both me and Silvervale are troublemakers, so they were letting us go. Later, I found out that Nyaners wanted to leave around the same time due to also being unhappy with the contract, but was told that she couldn't because it did not fit their narrative that they were pushing internally and externally. The amount of hate we've gotten over leaving, from fans calling us greedy bitches to people saying we're abandoning our friends and tossing us out
I
of the
remember
company
that,
because
dude. That
we're
was such a
successful
pain.
enough
That was such a bad
fucking
thing.
Painful. Not being able to say anything sucked. I only found out I didn't get paid for any of my sponsors after I had already signed the NDA. After 2 years, I have still not been paid back fully. To add insult to injury, they also demanded I had to pay them back $10,000 for some of the anniversary assets, which when they sent me back months later were half finished. Despite all of that, I've had immense faith that the company has gotten better over the past 2 years. I assumed they rewrote their contracts after losing 3 people due to them and seeing all that new talent join. Clearly, this was not the case. Now, for some fun facts.
I like fun
Their
facts.
company lawyer has an expired law license. He
Ooh.
literally does not practice law anymore, yet he was our point of contact for any legal help we needed. They actively pitted us against one another during my time there and compared our success to others. They tried enforcing streaming schedules so that our viewer count would look better due to less overlap. They would always shit talk other VTuber
I remember this
agencies.
post,
They
by the
literally
way.
would spend company money to get a tiny dig at them, especially Hololive. It literally
What?
lived rent-free in Gunrun's head. They were convinced Hololive was over when they signed Kason and Nazuna. Our previous talent manager
Yeah, totally. I think it absolutely went downhill after that. Man, Gunrun, you sure got him, champ. Wow, 7, way to go, champ.
got ghosted for 6 months by Gunrun, told not to do any work for us, and then got fired for not doing anything. During this fiasco, we weren't able to get any assistance. Mountain Dew got reprimanded for being creepy to us, lol. Got told not to message us privately, go figure. I have proof from other streamers attending Vishozo's IRL parties that Mountain Dew would actively shit talk me after I left the company to paint me in the worst
Okay.
light imaginable. Don't know why you're acting innocent on Twitter pretending you weren't aware of anything. Can't wait to see all the shit that comes out about you because there's loads, but those aren't my stories to
Come
tell.
here,
Thanks
Mountain
for
Dew.
reading, and thanks to those who stuck around.
Now we can
between
come
then and
back to
now.
this,
Thank you for
baby.
giving
Come,
me,
like,
Silver,
now we
and
need to
Neon
talk.
the benefit of the doubt when we needed it most. So yeah, this was insane. Many of the top streamers in the space would react to this with complete and utter shock. Bro, I was caught completely off guard. Holy shit. I could have never
Absolutely.
in a million years expected that.
This
and
is such
caused
a
Mountain Dew
insane
to be
thing.
community noted on the post he had made tagging Gunrun, with it saying this user was also included in many of Vishojo's mismanagement issues and has been called out for
Oh,
harassing
baby.
talents.
Let
Nyaners
me
would further confirm
tonight.
what Vey had said, saying Mountain Dew had the audacity to talk shit about you to my face at a party the year that we all left, and painted you as some kind of conniving, greedy, mean girl who was in my ear and manipulated me into leaving Vishojo just because you wanted me to join OTK because her boyfriend Soda is part of that org or for some personal gain or some shit. He got uncomfortably close and up in my face and was like, come on, I know the real reason you left. I know it was because of Vey. She talked you into it, etc. And it was infuriating. I know he spread that same shit to other staff, talent, and other industry people. Seeing one of my closest friends get dragged through the mud like this for years was awful. You did absolutely nothing wrong and had so much shit flung at you just because they wanted to push a narrative to protect the company. For him to act like he's completely blameless is insulting. He is a creepy motherfucker, and there's a lot more obviously, but a lot of it is also not my story.
Dude, I want to know
tell.
more of these stories.
Absolutely wild. Now, Dean, a lawyer that's actually certified, specialized in content creation, would tweet this out after Vey's tweet, saying Vishojo has not officially filed bankruptcy. They have not dissolved. Contracts are still in place. NDAs are still in place. Please review contracts before you say anything on the matter if you have signed anything at all with them. But
Okay.
then Vey, whether aware or unaware of that tweet, would still tweet this out saying, they'll have to steal from another charity to sue me, lol. A VTuber by
That's
the
pretty
name
funny.
of Cayenne, who's a corporate accountant IRL, would quote tweet Gunrun's botched apology saying, I'm a corporate accountant IRL. You do not misspend $11 million and you do not mistake charitable
This is kind of funny. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know why, dude. The VTubing is so vast. We literally have a VTuber for everything that does anything. I think there's a doctor VTuber. If I'm pretty sure. I think he like made a tweet the other day that's like, "I'm not your primary physician. Please contact your own doctors. I can't diagnose you over Twitch. Like, there's just a VTuber for quite literally everything.
Flash talent earned gains S company funds. This is a textbook embezzlement. He should be in cuffs. And speaking of those $11 million, this was seen as a genius move back in 2022. But the industry insiders that were very doubtful that Vishojo was making money and that they could pay it back in 2023 were mostly thinking this way because they weren't working with a private investor, they were working with venture capital, a form of fundraising that had zero flexibility. They wanted their money back, period. And they sure as hell were the last people to understand what the hell VTubing even was to begin with. We would then get more insight into how much Vishojo was struggling from a Japanese commodities trader, saying, unfortunate situation, but just remembered Kat, who was a friend of his, was offered $2 million to buy the whole thing, but obviously the operation was so unprofitable, Kat said no. I don't know how it ended this badly, but going through the financials, to be honest, it just looks like a team that never ran a business before. Kat was always a supporter or donor of VTubers and was interested in investing in them. A friend of mine was the largest investor in Vishojo, RIP, $0, implying that he had lost all his money. Maybe the loan the company took legally required them to be paid back first before the 500k stream donation go through to Iron Mouse, not sure. Still believe it's a terribly ran business rather than fraud, or at least I hope. So as early as June 21, 2025, Vishojo was selling itself for $2 million to an investor. This was the amount that they owed to talents and loans. Bear in mind, this is a company that had taken an $11 million loan and had some of the best talent in the entire VTubing industry, hell, the entire entertainment industry. They were valuing themselves at $2 million. Incredible. This really showed us that they really had no idea what they were doing with the business, and we'd only get more. I
feel like they definitely would have survived had they done it the other way, where they take sub money and instead let them keep the entire merch money or something like that, dude. They couldn't have survived on merch alone because they don't drop merch that often.
Glimpses as to how badly they ran the company when even more people would speak out. One of them being Camilla, a well-renowned VTuber in the industry, saying, I want to start by saying that the severity of my experience isn't the same as what others went through with Gunrun. Just wanted to share this tidbit because it affected a lot of my friends, including me. In 2022, I applied for Vishojo. I applied under my past life, so her past VTuber identity. Vishojo at the time prefaced that they were looking specifically for smaller streamers. I thought I'd give it a chance because I was a very small one at the time. I auditioned. I passed. I received an email saying that I would be moving to the next stage, as well as some of my friends. I and others were so excited to have even passed the initial round. That alone was something to be proud of. We filled out the next part. This mainly contained more technical questions. What's your schedule like? Are you good with handling technical difficulties? What kind of streaming equipment do you own? Etc. Submitted that and, well, got another email back. I made it to round 3. I was so happy. I know I wasn't fully accepted yet, but it was still a nice feeling. So I waited. I waited a few days for the next step. A few days turned into weeks. A few weeks turned into a few months. Nothing. I would frantically check my email almost every single day waiting for something. Eventually, I let it go. They moved on without a word. I was sad, sure, but more confused by the sudden disappearance. A year later, I started growing as a streamer. I met so many other VTubers and learned a lot by being around them. One day, I was chatting with a bigger VTuber and eventually, the topic of Vishojo came up. They told me they auditioned the same time I did. She made it to the final round, but they rejected her and the finalists last minute to hire someone they already knew. And these VTubers were given hush money not to tell anyone about it. The girls were devastated, just like the rest of us who got dropped without warning.
What did I say, chat? What did I say? They're not looking for you. They're looking for specific talents and specific sizes, bro. This isn't for new VTubers. Don't be silly.
So, yeah, thank you for wasting everyone's time, I guess. Oh, and one more thing before I forget. You have no idea how many times your talents called me in tears, suffering due to your neglect and the way you constantly mistreated them. They weren't getting paid, they weren't getting responses from you for over 6 months, and other heart-shattering moments I can't share yet. Is this the treatment you give to those who contributed to your success? No one as sweet and hardworking as them should have been treated like that and stolen from, and with that being said, I dedicate this to you. It will be a song sang by Camilla titled Dear Gunrun.
I know her.
In which she would address him personally with the lyrics that she wrote. Mia, yet another VTuber that was screwed over by Vishojo, would reply to Camilla's post, saying, I only spent half a year getting my hopes up. I cannot even comprehend how the people must feel who got strung along for even longer, just for upper management to choose bigger creators, while the talents, like Zentrea, had to tank all the criticism because they believed their words and promises as well. And all of us smaller people applying trusting Zentrea while the talents had to tank all the hatred from people claiming nepotism. Just to then, in the end, find out that upper management did treat the talents like cash cows and did try to get more cash cows instead of keeping the promises they gave everyone else. They sold this dream to everyone and made all of those false promises to talents and fans alike just to crush all of it, while letting the talent tank it all and disappointing so many people on the road. But what about this whole hush money thing? What about the people who made it as finalists and were given money by Vishojo to never speak of it again? Well, one of those talents was Neurosoda, and she confirmed it live
is
on her
this?
stream. Watch.
Like at the time when I applied for auditions, how many years was that ago? That was like 3 years ago. I literally do not care anymore. But at that time,
I've
they
got a lot
tried
of people
to,
got
like, give me the
closure and
hush
stuff like that,
money,
right?
Which I didn't take, and I spoke about the like what happened as carefully as I could, because I was like still scared to like, you know, have bad blood or anything, and then people still like
Right.
hated on me. Like nobody believed
Damn.
me. Okay.
That
I-
sucks, man.
So you
I'm
go
sorry
through
to
these
hear that.
auditions hoping that this will change your life. The company ends up being very unprofessional, backs down, wants to give you money to hush hush.
More
You
zealous
don't
music.
take it so that you can tell people about this, and when you do, they don't even believe you. I can't imagine the mental toll Neurosoda,
Damn.
as well as pretty much everyone else in this video, went through because of this company. I mean, it really is incredible just how many people this company had affected negatively. The list
Not
was so
TV
large, you couldn't even print it on a
artists.
sheet of A4 paper.
Or V
For
artists.
example, this artist was in the works to bring Vishojo to WeepCon 2026.
Okay.
Pitching it and having management approve. They would tell her, oh, we'd plan a meeting next week. Their schedule was very packed, but, you know, now she understands this is never going to happen. She was given no
Are you
prior
sure? You
warning,
think
and someone
they'll
else had
do
spent
it?
months and thousands of dollars developing a
Oh, Aura Culture. I know. I think I know them. I think I've seen their booth at TwitchCon. Was that? Is this the one I'm thinking of? It might be.
leather jacket concept for Kuro. Vishojo's management loved it, and the artist was under the impression that this was going to be a joint venture. But after all this work, Vishojo eventually just offered to buy out the whole thing. They didn't want to work with this artist, they just wanted the idea and the jacket. And you know what the worst part is? This artist, desperate not to let all their work go to waste, reluctantly agreed. And
Aw,
then
damn.
got ghosted, showing us that this business was truly ran by children. Kuro would find this post and would say, wait, what? I don't know how to say this, but I've never been shown this by anyone, even though I had asked many times if it was possible to get a jacket made, but there was never any update to me, so I assumed it's impossible. There was truly no end to Vishojo's fuck-ups. Niji Sanji, move aside because there's a new person on the throne. But if you thought that was the end of these talents getting punched in the face, you'd be wrong. On July 31st, 2025,
Poor Alma. Mama should have raised a quitter because there's only so many punches I could take,
Amelie
man.
would tweet, Mama should have
I'm
raised
sorry-
the
I'm
quitter
sorry to hear
because there's
that.
only so many punches I can take, man. Kuro would tweet, oh man, I might have some bad news. Someone asked, is
Oh,
it about your
no.
new house? He said, no, it's about old merch. And finally, Giga would say, I am once again trying not to crash out, but brother.
What-
She
what
would go
is
live
it?
shortly after to explain that there's some
Oh my god, she's so fine, bro. Sorry. I lose it when I see Giga, bro. She's... I apologize, Chad. I'm about to buy this. I'm not gonna lie. I'm about to buy this soap and use Giga for 20% off. The cheeky soap. She's so pretty. Sorry.
merch that was
I'm sorry. I ate...
sold to her audience that was still unfulfilled. It wasn't shipped yet, sitting in the warehouse. Seeing that Vishojo is a complete mess right now, she doesn't know who to reach out to get a list of people who, you know, bought it. Their addresses, like where she can send them to. It's completely unclear. She's still trying to figure out the details, but it seems that unfortunately, the people who did buy the merch and didn't get their order fulfilled might just get scammed. But as far as I know, some of Giga's merch did ship. In Kuro's case, though, none of it shipped. In fact, it wasn't even sent to
Dude, I'm so glad I bought my Giga merch like early. I think the Giga merch was the only merch I got fulfilled online. It was like a Giga Zentreya shirt. And then the other merch I have, which are VShojo shirts, like group shirts. I have VShojo group shirts and then a VShojo next shirt. I have these specifically because I went to a con. I went to Anime Expo and I went to their booth specifically to get this merch, which I'm glad I did. It's something that I like to do sometimes when I know that it's like gamer subs or something else. I like to go to the booth to go get it because then there's like no shipping or anything and I'm getting what I asked for in my hand. Now, that has nothing to do with gamer subs because I've never had a single problem with gamer subs and ordering anything, but you know, I just wanted my Giga. I just wanted my Henya shirt to come in the way I asked for it, man. Was I unreasonable? Was it me? I don't know, man. I don't know.
Production. The pinned post in Kuro's community on Twitter right now is this, saying, merch update. Unfortunately, Kuro's birthday merch was never sent to production, so please file a dispute at your bank/PayPal and do a chargeback
They
ASAP.
never
If you need help,
did
feel free to DM me.
anything.
So during Kuro's birthday, with Vishoujo, he was selling some special merch. Typically, the way it works is that when merch is being sold for something like this, there's a time limit. Once that time limit's over, the company knows exactly how many items to print or produce in order to send them to the person who bought them.
Right.
In this case, though, they sold merch but never produced it. Knowing that Vishoujo is in deep financial trouble, it's safe to say people are not going to get refunded. So
Are you
the
sure?
only way to really get your money
give it
back
another
is to
week, maybe,
charge
right?
back. I mean, this is a
I'm just kidding, by the way.
disaster
There's
at
no
an
way you're gonna do that shit.
apocalyptic level. It's not just the talents
Right.
being affected by Vishoujo's incompetence, it's their fans now. It's so sad to see. But hey, you know what? Not all of it was negative
Indie
because
Mouse.
the VTubing community was able to take this extremely negative situation and turn it into a very positive one. Iron Mouse was officially indie again, and her Tiltify charity fundraiser, in barely just over a day, it had reached over $1 million, with the Immune Deficiency Foundation themselves making a tweet saying, "I'm not crying, you're crying." The campaign
That's so
at the end of
nice.
July is currently sitting at over one.
That's such a heartwarming moment, dude. I love knowing that. That's God, it'll never bring comfort to like the girls who were really screwed over, but it's a nice moment. I'll say that. It's a really nice moment. I'm glad that this happened.
$1.3 million raised, and it was so impactful, not just to the VTubing community, but pretty much everyone who had heard about it, that the CEO of the Immune Deficiency Foundation had made
Did
a
he?
video thanking Iron Mouse and her community
Oh,
for
that's-
everything.
that's
this is
so
just
sweet.
incredible. Very wholesome.
That's such a
Everyone
sweet
coming
moment.
together was just an amazing thing to see.
That's
This
so
Vishoujo
nice.
saga is probably the messiest, craziest thing I have ever covered on this channel, as the biggest disaster that's ever occurred in the VTubing space. And ironically enough, the new era of VTubing wasn't actually created with Vishoujo, it was created with the end of Vishoujo. I personally completely agree with Sayu's tweet, in which he says, "I said it yesterday on stream, but what's happening in the VTubing space right now is reminding me of the Machinima MCN days, sounding like old man Sayu." I mean, I remember Machinima, but I'm not old, okay? They used to host some of my favorite shows that I watched growing up. But the way
you're
they were
not.
created was as an MCN, a multi-channel network, something that is completely extinct today. Back then, YouTubers, especially centered around video games, believed that the only way to succeed or get to the next step of content creation was to sign on with a Machinima. This would allow them to get control over your YouTube channel and essentially make decisions for you. The promise here was that you would be getting so many sponsors, money, cool opportunities, but the reality was that you would be severely limited as to what you can do, and Machinima would practically become your boss. You would have no freedom.
Oh,
Your
damn.
channel wouldn't even be owned by you anymore. Eventually, everyone left this company once they realized that they were practically scammers, and this led to the company completely shutting down. So
Good.
maybe the new era
Good.
of VTubing content creation lies in the independent creators themselves. Maybe VTubing, just like video game content creation in the early 2000s,
I only think that this might be a thing because the Western companies have never been able to pull it off other than, and please don't let me down, Fishman, other than FaZe Connect, right? I think FaZe Connect has a bright future and there's no limit to them now that all their competition is gone. God, I'm hoping. But in terms of like Japanese companies, they do it so well that there is still reason to go to a Japanese agency, right? People can say what they want, but at the end of the day, there really is still merit in going to a Japanese company. So to say that there is no reason to join an agency is not entirely true. It just really depends on how much you would need that agency, right? Like, you got to think about what you're giving up and weigh it against the cost of what you really need. But that's not for me to decide. That's something for you to decide. So I can't really tell you whether you should go and join a company or something.
needed these agencies to lay a foundation, but now they're not needed anymore. Who knows? Time will tell. I do find it hilarious, though, that in a stream with Michi and Matara, they would find out through tarot cards that Vishoujo was going to be doomed this year. This was back in like February, okay? Just this year. And speaking of Vishoujo, in Legal Mindset's opinion, this statement was so poorly written that it might as well be Gunrun admitting to a crime. This wasn't over, and the talents could most
By
definitely
Legal
sue.
Mindset,
I
by
don't
the
know what'll
American
happen, but I
Nightmare
would
Andrew
definitely
Esquire?
not bet my money
Wow.
on Gunrun. Anyway, thank you so much for watching this ridiculously long video. I don't know how long it's going to be while recording this, but I am not looking
2
forward
hours.
to editing
Spoiler
at
alert,
all.
buddy. It's kind of
And also,
long.
special thanks to Rima Evenstar for very quickly compiling some of the lengthy statements from many of the VTubers affected by Vishoujo. As of now, Vishoujo's store is not available anymore, but it's important to note that it hasn't filed for bankruptcy yet and hasn't closed its doors down either. As far as we know, it's still a company, one with no money, but still a company. If there's anything for you to understand from all this is to, well, always hire a lawyer to read out contracts. And if a company makes you feel guilty about it, then they're probably a massive red flag. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video whenever that is. I don't know what it's going to be. I don't know what it's going to be uploaded. All I know is I need a goddamn vacation. I love you. Mwah.
Thanks for the thanks for the $500,000, man. I love VTubers. Nice, man. What an absolute cinematic masterpiece. Is there anything else? Nope. I can't believe I sat through this entire video, chat. I actually have to go and I got to get to work right now, but chat, that was an insane amount of information all at once. Chat, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Comment, like, subscribe, and I'll catch you gamers in the next one. Hopefully not one that's 5 hours long. Anyways, bye, chat. Okay. That's where I'm going to cut off the video. Chat, I'm also going to end the stream now because I do have to go relax, eat, and get ready because I have to go to work. But chat, hopefully we can do another just chatting stream where it's not just reacting to one single video. You know, we can talk to the community and react to a lot of more videos because, you know, as you know, I have a second channel where I do more reaction. Chat, I hope you guys enjoyed the stream. I will see you guys tomorrow for Genshin, question mark? Well, we'll probably finish the summer event. Or maybe I could do the Zenless stuff tomorrow because that's coming to an end. And then we'll do the Genshin stuff over the weekend. I don't know. We'll see. Anyways, chat. Goodbye.